What's going on? Everybody says we're live. Rich B is first. Rich B, what is going on? I was sitting here playing around on the back end of this thing, screwing around a little bit, seeing what's new in the world. But I tell you what I do know is welcome. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Rich B, for being first. Might play around for a minute, like I said, see if we get anybody that comes in. I'm trying to see how to share the screen a little bit. I'm totally don't know what I'm doing, but I thought this was interesting. I wanted to start off with Cap sent me something, and he was talking about. Let's see here. He was dealing with. Oh, I know. I gotta take a sip of water before I even mention this. He was dealing with this company called WD, and he was talking to the driver. He said the driver of WD said everyone is slow. Interesting. He said they usually get 50 to 60 doors on their trucks. Think about that. 50 to 60 doors, like on their trucks as they're making deliveries around the state of Michigan or state of Ohio or Illinois or wherever they go. Canada, all that good stuff, right? It's probably about what they can fit on them. I don't know what they're at for max capacity. Said they usually get 50 to 60 doors on their trucks, but lately they've been less than 20. He says, not sure if that makes me feel better or worse. So that's a pretty big, normally they got 50 to 60 doors on a truck and less than 20. Whoa is all I got to say. Here's one for you too. So I appreciate Cap sharing this stuff too. I see Rusty's in the house. What's up, Rusty? Hope you're doing good. So there's a company around us that used to be, they had a different name. Now they go by, it's Cisco. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but anyways, they more or less, I think it's Morrison. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but Morrison does, they're pretty big into like forklifts and, I think their forklift stuff is really big, right? They do a lot of forklift repairs and stuff like that. They might keep it all under one name of Cisco, but anywho, they bought this door company. I heard it was kind of a write-off for them. Like it was like, there was like, I don't know the whole story. So this is just something I just dreamed of. Okay. There was 3 brothers. They gave the cursed brother, the one that was the one that lost money, which was the door business. So anyways, they do doors. Now this was out in GR, which is a little bit of a hike for us. So I kind of get where this could be a long distance loser. There's some stuff that goes into it, right? So basically I'll summarize here. He says, got killed by a quote, Cisco quote 13 for an operator in GR. Now I don't know if this is like a gate operator or if this is a like openers. I'm assuming since he went to the portal, I'm assuming it's lift. He says not even I don't want to do it price. So what he's saying is he didn't even do it for I don't even want it price. I kind of learned that from my uncle. My uncle always told me, Dave, you get a job, you just do it for the, like I don't flip and really want it price, but if you get it, you're gonna do superb on us. Just do phenomenal. Let's see here. It's not even did it for the do not want it price, but somewhat high because it's in GR, so it's a hike, right? A little bit of time, all that stuff. Cisco quoted him just under $6,000, $6,000. They used LiftMaster. Oh, okay. So I'm getting this I'm betting this is a gate operator. It says I used LiftMaster, so I went to the partner portal and added all the material to the cart, and it was $4,000 cost in materials. So he says, how how in the hell do they quote their shit so low? He says, I did a 30% margin on that. He says it would be 57 in materials. They quoted like 59 for materials and install. So I'm assuming this is for a gate operator. And I don't know for sure if this is a gimmick. Maybe somebody knows out there. Ooh, I did not catch SOS at Genie. Was it good, or was he biased? Was he just you know what I mean? Was he bought out, or was he honest with them? Like straight shooters, you know what I mean? Like they're probably not going to invite me because I'm just going to tear them apart. Let me know. What'd you think, Rich? I got some good stuff. Was it truthful, you think? So basically I told him, I said, I had a customer that was in town here. And I remember I quoted it. This was quite a few years ago. I quoted it for $5,000 as for a gate operator. And the guy came back and he says, your competitor, which was actually this other company, he says they can do it for like $4,000. I'm like, dude, like 5 is already like barely getting by. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to keep a customer. That's all, you know? And I he and hawed over it, probably lost some sleep over it. Just started thinking about it. I thought, you know what? I kind of know what the work they're going to do. So I said, you know what? They can do the install. And since we provide such good service, we'll probably be back like 4 to 5 times to work on this thing because the install is going to be so horrible. And I thought, we'll probably be good. So we'll make more money on our service calls than we will actually the install. That makes sense. So I said, you know, I called them back like the next day and I said, hey, I said, you know, I checked the numbers. I said, I just can't do it. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll just have to let them have it. Yep. Calls me back like 2 days later. Tells me, says, hey, I guess they missed some numbers on that quote. So their price is now like 57 or something like that, or 6,000. And I'm like, oh, and he goes, so can you still do it for 5? And I'm like, yeah, like I could still do it for 5. I mean, we're making like a couple $100. Like, I'm like, and of course, by the time this all starts playing out, I just remember it started landing right about in a blizzard weather. You know what I mean? And I remember I'm driving the work van and it's just, I'm out there, just the wind blowing. And I'm like, this was stupid. Like, this should have been a $6,000 job. What the hell? You know? So, you know, I wonder if they do some kind of little hook, you know, where they get you, like they do it and they come back and go, oh, you know what? We found there's something extra. So it's going to be another $1,200 and it's going to be another $3,000. I mean, that's kind of what roofers do sometimes, right? With their sheeting, right? That's where they kind of get you, right? Because they got their door. Rich's guy says he was at the research center. He says, I think it was a good vacation. Ooh, this is what, let's see here. I'll start putting some of this up. It says, quoted because they don't make anything on the job or need to keep the guys busy. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know what the customer was for it. So, I mean, that's a good valid point. So that is a good point. That is a good point. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what the motive is. Like I said, this company is actually I think they got 2 or 3 locations and they are really big. All they do is commercial. They don't do any residential. It's all commercial. And so I know it was a commercial, but I just keep wondering, like, so this is the second time now. And it's been a few years in between, but this is the second time that they quoted something. And to do a gate operator to be at, what was it? Like $6,000. Now they do have a location, I do believe, out in the GR. So that might be helping somewhat, but, oof, not good, man. Not good. What's up with Tony? Why you got Tony on here? The Batman signal. What's Tony up? I didn't do a Batman signal for Tony. I should have. Should have, would have, could have. He might be taking a nap. Might be taking a Tony nap. Brand awareness is community will win you jobs, reputation, and not price. Man, Rusty, I wish I could agree with you on that around here, but we live in a different world, brother. You know, like Mr. T, brother. No, who's that one guy? Who's the wrestling guy? I bet one of you guys know the wrestling guy. You know, brother. It was right up there with Hulk Hogan back in the day. I'm trying to think of him. Passed away, right? The guy with the sunglasses. That's who I'm thinking. They just go on pure price. And like I said, this could be a brand new customer. You know what I mean? So they just absolutely went on price. I mean, I can guarantee if we went with a different opener, gate operator, it's going to be if it's a linear, it's a way better product. And we're going to put a lot of bells and whistles in it. That's going to make it very bulletproof compared to the LiftMaster. But nope, it'll be on price. I mean, here's like a great example, right? We've had this customer that we've been with for, I don't know, like I said, that customer that was eating me up for 15 years. That was like one of my very first customers for like 15 plus years. And he's calling me on this. Now, see, the thing is he's in charge. He's in charge of facility maintenance, but he's got to get, he's got a boss, and his boss, I've heard through the grapevine many of times, his boss is just a numbers guy, just a pure numbers guy. And he's got to get through quotes. And so that's where our quote came in. And that one time we were $1,000 difference. And, you know, it was generous enough for him to say, you know, you can't do it. And I said, no, I said, I cannot do it for that price. I said, I finally just had to do I had to walk. And, he was all about like, wow, I just have to let the other guys, like my hands are tied. I get it, man, whatever. And, but it came back. I mean, it did come back, and, but see some of these guys too. See, I normally like to do, we won't exceed, not to exceed. So it kind of gives us that little bit of, some of these guys will put contingencies in there, off to the side. There's a contingency of $5,000 if we run into something in the ground or something, blah, 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 because they know how the system works, right? I do the same thing. I get quotes for roofs and drywall and building and framing and all that crap, right? First thing, just show me the numbers. Show me the numbers. That's all I care about. Show me the numbers. And then I go from there, right? Jesus, this guy's $20,000 higher. What's he think I am, made of money? Look at this guy. These two are kind of, this guy was a little bit nicer. This guy seemed like he had he kind of acted like he wanted the job. Well, I don't know, this job, this place where it's at, location, I just need them to get the product there. If they can't, they don't even quite get it perfect, I can still nail it home, but I just need the bulk of the stuff there. Things like that. Or sometimes what I'll do is I'll manage them. Like if I know it's kind of a questionable, I will go there and babysit. But like I said, at 15 years, done great service. And this guy gets a quote, boom. And I know how this game is played. That's how it goes. If we get somebody new too, it's a whole cat and mouse thing, right? We give them a real low price. We want to get in their system, because once you get in their system, you got better chances, but it takes time to get in there. But if you're driving, how that goes. That's a long ways. Keep the comments running. Hope everybody's doing good. Thanks for being here. Don't forget, hit like button. Can't tell. Not on this platform. But I haven't seen much changing out there. I'm still kind of getting things are kind of flatlined, unfortunately. All right. There we go. All right. Reputation, jobs. Still probably driving those rails. What's he on? Oh, that's right. That's right. He's on that game, right? That simulator. Keels. Let's get Randy here. Oh, that's right, Randy. Randy Savage. There you go. That's right, brother. Slim Jim. Oh man, there was somebody that had the Slim Jim, you know, the little statue at the gas station. Oh, I so wanted it. I said, I really kind of want that. And the lady goes, you wouldn't believe how many people want this thing. I said, it's pretty cool. It's just nostalgic. You know, I just thought kind of reminds me of my grandpa. You know, my grandpa was a jerk, but he always, you know, he'd make me lay on the floor. I had to lay on the floor on the carpet, the shag carpet, right? The orange, stinky shag carpet. You couldn't ever tell if it's like people's feet or it's just dirty or that's just the way it smells. I'd lay on the floor and we'd watch wrestling. He watched a lot of wrestling. I wanted to watch cartoons. He wanted to watch wrestling. What's up, Mr. Evan? Cousin Evan's in the house. I had an opener install. That's taking longer than it should. Had to fix the door because it was dumping cables. Oh, gonna pick up food. We'll be back in a bit. Nice. Nice. Crazy, man. Not no spring tension. Springs are wrong. Oof. Oof. Things you can get into, the pickles. The pickles. Rusty's got, so you want to start a door business? Oh man. Oh man. I tell you, if any of the new guys, like I said right now, that's why I'm kind of putting it out there. You know, I know everybody's, you know, I watch a lot of economists. I watch a lot of home buyers and home sellers and stuff like that. And you know, I have to agree with what they always say, right? They always say, you know, everybody's market is different. You know what I mean? Some are booming. I mean, just like when I went down and seen Josh down in Indiana, which if he comes across this, Josh, send me a text, man. I gotta shoot him a text and see how he's doing. See if he's even still doing the door business or gates. He was doing doors and gates. He's such a great dude. But it was just a different animal going down to Indiana down there. It was just like when he was like, we're kind of in like a bad area. And I'm like, a bad area. I'm like, this is middle class, dude. Like this is nothing, you know, compared to where I'm used to. And people were driving nicer cars and people were like dressed decent. You know, I was like, this is not that bad. Like I can see it. I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I mean, I do see a lot of fences and I do see a lot of gates. But it was just, it's different. You could just feel there was a lot more money rolling around there. Than it is in our area. What is this? You have to cover the unknowns. Is that for Evan? Like you have to play detective on the doors. The doors can be a real pain sometimes. I don't know if you guys ever come across this or not. It'd be great to hear it again, but you know, I swear I remember it seemed like my old business partner, he always used to tell me, he would always say, you know, you ever notice that people are happier with like, it seemed like with a door and opener than just I can't remember if it was just an opener or just a door. I just can't remember exactly what it was. And I kept thinking, why did he say that? And I kept thinking, well, you know, I remember, it was probably with the door and opener because I remember I had a sub that did a job up in Petoskey, Michigan, long ways up there. He was a sub I had up there. He did pretty decent. I think his name was Paul. Paul was a pretty good dude for the most part. And it was through Lowe's. And I remember, what was it? He left the instructions. He left instructions with the homeowner. And in the instructions, it said the strut needed to be in the middle of the door. Well, mind you, there's a window section up there. So the customer is calling and complaining, you know, they didn't put the strut in the right spot, you know, and I'm finally, you know, goes through the secretary, finally gets to me and I call him and I say, well, I said, you know, here's the thing. You really don't want a strut going through your window sections. It's just, that's not normal. You know what I mean? But it says right here in the instructions. And this guy was just grumpy. And then I think the siding, I think Paul did say something about the weather seal. And then Paul was going on a vacation. And I was getting pretty agitated with this dude. So I ended up, we made a trip up there. And I remember I had a cone on a piece of metal and it went between the trailer and my truck and it dented my tailgate pretty good. So I was like, oh, that's sweet. That's probably $1,000 bill, you know, to get the truck fixed and painted. Anyways, I get up there And this guy's just sitting in his chair, just grumpy about everything, it seemed like, in life. And I finally just kind of come unglued and, basically kind of told him how it was and just said, I don't know what you're expecting. Do you want us just to build you a whole new garage? And he just kind of finally thought, I think this dude's upset. And and he goes, no, he goes, just put the weather seal on, it'll be fine. And my guy with me, he disconnect the door and he says, sir, because the guy was complaining too, the door was noisy. And he says, sir, it's not the door. He says, look, he's like, I'm running the door by hand. The door's fine. He's like, the door's quiet. Run your opener. And then, you see the jiggy bar and it's like an old, like Alistair or something like that. Just an old school opener, you know what I mean? And it's just chain, just rattling and stuff. And I always like, that kind of resonated with me where I just kept thinking, we do a new opener, we do a belt drive, we do something that's more up to par, we do a new door. They're more happy, right? But they still hear that opener, they're making all that noise. Or it's just like when you fix a door, sometimes people like, they know when you spray oil and stuff on them too. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. You don't drill the T-rails. Dude, the T-rails are impossible to drill. They're old train tracks. They're old train track rails melted down. I did that once at my old house. Dude, I burned so many bits. I mean, I kept oiling it. And I mean, it would just start screeching. Like, when a bit starts screaming, it's squealing and it's not cutting no more. It was like you get like 3 turns on it, right? You get into it 3 turns, you're like, yeah. And you see like a couple chips come out and you're just like, and you're like spraying it. You're like, come on, baby. Come on, baby. The oil always helps. And I told myself I will never do that again. I said I will buy one of those electrician clips. I don't know what they're called, but they like clamp onto like red steel. I was like, I will buy one of those. I will drill, I'll clamp that thing onto that rail, and then I'll do something from that clamp from there, because that was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I told myself, don't ever drill a rail ever. I think I've done it before too on the nose for some reason. Like when I had a custom make I know that's a bear too, but at least you're pushing down. When you're pushing sideways up on a ladder, no, thank you. Markets are drastically different here. Within 30 minutes drive, go from a crack house, $1 million house to 100-acre farms. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, we can kind of like, trying to think by the shop there. Like you do have some, yeah. I mean, when I went to one. That one was like a 1.7. And, that's on the lakeshore. And then you kind of got like your mini Detroit. And then you got like, you do have the outskirts, right? The outskirts of Urbana. And those are pretty big areas. So it does change. We got some pretty rural areas. But we do not, like, they got done building the hospital. We don't have a lot of industrial anymore. That's kind of a real pain in the butt. Like, we don't have a lot of industrial jobs like there used to be. I mean, Brunswick used to be huge, right? The bowling alley stuff. That's just a shell of what it used to be. We used to have like a piston manufacturer. I forget the other company's name, the one that went out just as we started the business. They were pretty big at making one of the companies made big old cranes, so we just don't have a lot of manufacturing like we used to. It's just everything now is turning into housing. I think they said over there, I was just watching the news a couple days ago, and I thought they said something like we're still like, I don't want to say it's too small of a number, but I want to say like, was it 9,000? Maybe it was 9,000 houses still short. And they're Shell Walker, I guess that was the biggest furniture. I believe it was furniture maker. I still have one of their cabinets in one of our trailers, which I was really surprised. It's pretty beat up. And a guy that does, what does he do? He does, like, he's the one that did our office, like the furniture and stuff in there. He was like, you want to sell that? And I was like, it's an old beat up filing cabinet, but he seemed like he kind of wanted it. And I was like, nah, it's like, I don't know what they're worth, but just an old green Shell Walker. And so that building is being revamped. They just got the permits. Everything's good to go. So they just actually did it this last this Monday. They had a little celebration at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to celebrate to start working out, which is good. It's been sitting another 2 years after they were supposed to be doing something. And I walked through it with the project manager guy. I don't even know why I was there. Honestly, I can't remember. But he took us through. I mean, I was like, dude, I was like, can we like walk through this building? Can you show us around? He's like, yeah, I'd love to. I was like, oh, I love that kind of stuff. So he's telling us the stories and how this, the structure and the building, the age, and all this kind of stuff, and how they were putting a rooftop pool on, and they were doing a hot tub up there. And I was thinking, like, and they're gonna have like a gym area in there. They're gonna have a restaurant in the building. It's so big because it's such a big building, and they're gonna have like condos. It's gonna be apartments. I'm like, dude, like, I think I might just move here. I was like, can you imagine me on top of the building and looking over? It'd be over Muskegon Lake, and I thought that'd be sweet. Like, I'm all about that, but uh, I don't know if I could be surrounded. Do 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 do. And cutting oil and it drills so easy, dude. I can't get it to cut. Maybe I just had junk bits at the time too. Maybe I was just using all the bits. I just use whatever for oil. I never have like a preference on oil. I use WD, anything cool to keep the bit cool. Oh yeah, speed slow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you know how the drill it keeps kind of going so fast. So what's you get into the Grand Haven area. Not much. Not much. That's over the bridge from the shop. And we just don't really crest that area for some reason. I don't know what we could probably try to market more heavy in that area, but it's actually a pain to get over there for us because we have to go down the highway, and it's about a 20-25 minute drive till you get to the bridge. And then you have the drawbridge, which has a tendency of breaking very often. And so then you got to deal with Grand Haven's traffic. So you're going into a peninsula, over a bridge. So it's not a very fun place to service for us. Not that but there's, I'd almost want to open another location on that side. I feel like, um, and then you would just kind of go south, because when you go south down there, it's kind of like you got Grand Haven, you got Holland, you got Zealand. Zealand's a pretty good area. Hudsonville. There's some builders that are coming up from the Hudsonville area. One guy, he loves Muskegon because the prices are cheap for property. So, um, he buys a lot of bigger properties and then develops them, makes them into subdivisions. So he even has a place up here for his business. But nobody kind of likes working for him, like, I've heard 3 or 4 people now that just don't want to work for him, and then it's funny because when you do look at his job and you see people there, it's like I went through one of the subdivisions and somebody did a fence, and I was like, oh, they had their sign out, and I was like, wonder who that is. And they were pretty far away. You know what I mean? Like, they were all of hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes away from where their city was. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of what I see. It's like he, whatever, kind of messed up his demographic, close, because that's what the excavator told me. And then I know a kind of a builder that was doing drawings for him, and he was asking for more. And he's like, this ain't just like, he's like, I did what you told me to. And then these are like additionals. Like, if you want me to go back and change or redesign this, that isn't done for free, but that's the kind of mentality this guy has. A little bit. If maybe he had the right person, I think for opening up, I'd rather help somebody, in a nutshell. I don't know if I want to deal with that kind of stress, in my life. It's a lot, and getting the vendors and all that kind of stuff. Um, you know, it's hard in the garage door business to scale. It really is. Um, you know, I think to myself, this is just my personal, opinion, but it's like when you think about how many years and decades have gone by, right? And you don't see, you know, think of all the garage door companies that you've come across or known about that, the family they split up or they had some kind of feud or something. There's all kinds of things, right? But the only things that seem like they can ever expand in a nutshell, I mean, they obviously do some franchise and stuff like that, but um, that one guy was on here, right? He was mentioning about how the one closed for A1, but it's most time it's always like I think of grocery stores. Like stores can and I don't know if it's because it's on a piece of land and it's manageable, it's got cameras and everybody comes to it, right? Versus, when you we have so many variables, when you go out, right? I mean, like I've seen so much waste over the years that it feels like it makes your head spin. You know what I mean? Like you can, I've had, you can hire secretaries or stuff like that. I've had secretaries, and then it's like, they're posting pretty much all day on Facebook or something. And then it's like, you're like, don't you have like business stuff or, like, can't you follow up with a job or, what I mean? Like there's just so much, uh, leakiness in a nutshell. Then you got trucks. And like I said, trucks are another thing, the variables in trucks, things like that. That stuff happens all the time. We got all the variables. Then we got equipment. And then you got to put quotes. Put quotes, always get the job, right? A lot of time and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I can't say for sure no, you know, but I just right now it's kind of busy. Busy with other stuff. Holland, Zealand. How do you know so much over here, Rich? How you know about this area? What's the secret sauce? Let's see here. Kind of curious now. Rich has got that. I could try it. I could try to see. I think I got it says stop sharing. Oh, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it right now because we're pretty quiet in the comments today. So let me check, see what happens if I switch over here. If it gets all goofy, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to see if I can share the screen. We'll see if we get in trouble or something. You know what I mean? Let's stir up a little drama. Um, let's just see if this pops up. I think it's still showing me. I don't think it's working. I'm looking up SOS right now. Okay, so there's that. I gotta listen to myself. See where I'm at. All right, here we go. Go like this. Go like this. This should screw something up. Bam. Hell yeah, it worked. I think. I don't see. I don't see Mr. SOS though. Let's go to whoa, hold up, buddy. Hold up, Mr. SOS. We love you. What was it called? This is 8 years ago, so I wonder if I can go to his channel. Oh, oh, stop. And then plus I don't know what you can oh, he says a nice vacation, right? Perfect. Here we go. We can see this. I don't think you guys can hear it. Nope. I don't think you guys can hear it. We'll skip through a little bit. Oh, this is kind of interesting. We'll skip. All right. Well, it's just the fact that you guys, as far as I know, cannot hear that. Be pretty cool. This is kind of interesting. All right. Well, it's just the fact that you pause this. All right. Now, how to pause you? Stop. Perfect. All right. We're back on. Okay, that's cool. Got to play around a little bit. Thanks for bearing with me on that. That was painful, but it seems like we don't have audio on it. You guys couldn't hear the video, I'm assuming. What's it say, Holland? What's Rusty got? Ooh, yesterday a 4-foot black snake. No way, man. Forget that. Oh, Rusty does have on here. He says no, I can't hear it. I don't know why. What is this gonna? It says edit stop screen. No, I can't do that. It's kind of weird that you can't hear it. Why can't you not hear it? I have to learn how to fix that. So what is it? Today is, I believe today's Tuesday. What you guys got going out there? Rich, is it still just kind of quiet over there? Everything been running good? All the vehicles are running good? No big problems? You already tried out that Surewinder, I assume. It's got to be like your new best friend. We got a little door tear out. I still might launch it tonight. It's just a little door tear out. Me and Caleb did. We tore out some Wayne Dalton doors for a good old customer. That's a bummer. I still don't know why I can't hear it. That's weird. If I click, let me see, stop screen. No, stop. It's got me wondering now. Add to stage. Perfect. Whatever. But the audio. What do we know about the audio? Dun-dun-dun. YouTube Premium without ads. No thanks. Got it. Audio is all the way. No. Not seeing nothing for audio. I'll have to try something else another time. See what I can do to fix it. Rusty, is it busy on your end? Oh, I think did I ever ask you, Rusty, about your 6.6 burning oil? I can't remember if I asked you that question or not. I feel like I lost audio in here. It is quiet out there. It's like nobody's doing nothing, I tell you. It's just so quiet. It's like everybody's trying to combat inflation, trying to put food on the table. Shows up here. Oh, okay. Okay. When I was younger, I have a school friend that moved there after he graduated high school. He does rehabs and painting. He's done pretty good for himself. Nice. Nice. Yeah, there's quite a bit of money over in that area. Hudsonville's a pretty nice the Zealand. I think Holland I don't know what their immigration is on for like Mexicans. I think there's a little bit more of the Mexican people over there than up by the shop because I don't know, they got just there's some big factories over there, man, some big stuff, big buildings. They're always building big. There's was it that one Blaine's? I don't know if anybody has Blaine's. It's kind of like a Tractor Supply, but like on steroids. My dad always told me about it. I stopped by there one day, and holy moly, that place is huge. They got like clothing. I mean, they got like little ATV stuff in there. I mean, they got food. I mean, you name it. It's a pretty nice place. I'm sure they got nuts and bolts and everything else. I didn't get that far. I had a little squirt with me, so I just kind of scooted through. And then I was thinking with Rusty. Rusty, you sent me that one video, right? What are you guys going to do with that one building? Didn't you purchase a building you were showing me and then doing the French drain? The garage door was insane, dude. Like, I totally agreed with you on, on getting out of the garage door business because that door is just so janky, but it works so good. It's just nuts to see how it was working on there. Otherwise, let's see here. Do got one for Mr. Kevin, an order looking like a 9x7, non insulated, roll windows. I was trying to figure out what else to add to it, though. Like I said, I had a buddy, even a buddy, it would be his father-in-law, got home equity or whatever. And so I think he's doing, I don't know if he's doing roof, but I think he's doing siding. He's got a garage door on the front and then one in the back. Like basically you can drive through it. A couple 9x7s. And he wanted a price. I said, "Oh man," I said, we got a good vendor. I said, "Not a problem." Right. I gave him a price. Surprisingly, those doors were roughly $100 cheaper than what you could buy at Menards. $100. I was like, wow. I think they were even a little bit more. I think it was like $120. So I was like, yeah, we'll hook you up, dude. We got it. And gave him price. Didn't hear back from him for a while. Thought, oh, all right. Maybe they don't want to move forward. And end up, he called today and said they want to do one. And they want to pay us the labor to install it. And I said, okay. I was thinking, you didn't want to do two? Just do two. Because we're in between vendors. And, I just hate for you wanting the back one and then it gets lost in the system somewhere. It should be documented. I don't think we're moving anytime soon from Jobber. So, but I just would hate for it to, I guess at least they're not side by side. Could be worse, right? It's on the back. One's in the front, one's in the back of the house. Make sure I got the screen right. His dream home, southeast of Holland. Dang. Does pretty good. So does he still do the rehabs and stuff like that? Sounds like a guy I need to have lunch with. I like kind of people like that. We got a guy around here, a builder, just a little builder. I've met him and I don't know, it fascinates me when you can do what is it, more with less. You know what I mean? Like it's like that Swiss Army knife. You know what I mean? I think fascinates me. My grandpa used to carry one. Did MacGyver used to have a Swiss Army knife? I feel like MacGyver had a Swiss Army knife. I could be wrong. But he drives a little minivan. I mean, it's like one of those things, man. You wouldn't even have a clue. The guy, he drives a little minivan and he buys he buys a lot of houses and he rehabs them. He'll tear the carpet out, paint them, drywall them, spend whatever 3-6 months on them, turn around and sell them. And I'm always just like so proud of him. I'm always like, dude, you're such a cool dude. Like you do such a good job. And he buys them, he sells them for a very reasonable. Some he'll turn into rentals. But it just always blows my mind. He works out of that little van, and I'm always just like, he's got a little trailer, just so cool. He gets it done. Oh, okay, gotcha. So it says, yeah, Dave says bought it because on main road in my area, about 25 minutes from our main shop. Gonna do a billboard. Ooh, I have cars per hour. Getting billing now to see if it's worth fixing. Nice, nice. Not gonna lie, it took me a minute, Rusty, because I was like, when I seen the video, I was kind of like, wait a minute, who's this? And I was like, and I was like, and I was thinking, I thought it was like a totally new guy, right? Like I was like, oh, I was like, he bought a shop. Oh, that's cool. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute, this Rusty? Rusty, Rusty's already got a shop. What's he need a shop for? That's like, heck if I know. I was like, he could be whatever, man. Parking cars, selling it, could be growing plants in it. I don't know, you know. So that's cool. But those garage doors were crazy, man. Just absolutely crazy. Oh, I love it. I loved it. It made me laugh. Just made me laugh. If I had it, I'd pull it up. If I knew how to do it, I'd pull it up. It's great. It's great content. Water and electricity, no septic. So have to rent a porta potty. It's about, what do you mean it was 20? Oh, it was 20 for the building. I'm thinking 20 for a porta john? No, hell no. Okay, 20. Gotcha. Yeah, you can't turn that down. Porta john, not a bad. I'll give you a little secret because I know the porta john world pretty good. Um, if you want to save some money, you can always just buy one. Buy them offline. You can buy one, and you can just have somebody now call. I would call first and say, hey, what will you charge to come out and service it? Because you might not use it that often. And a lot of those companies want to do it every month, and then they're going to charge you, maybe, it could be whatever, 120, 150, $160 a month. Where for them to come out and clean it might be 60, 80, $85. And so you just might want to buy one and then just call them when you need service, because you might be able to go 3-6 months depending on how much it gets used. I don't know what the township would think of, though, if it sits out there long term. You probably don't really want it in the building. Might get a little stinky. What's Rich guy? He says, yes, he's doing more handyman stuff now. He's year older than me, so winding down a little bit. Oh, I get it. Says show it. I wish I could. I don't have it loaded. I don't know how to exactly do that on this platform. He's slowing down though, huh? That's cool though. I'm glad he's still doing stuff, kicking. That's awesome, man. That's good for him. And what did he says, design and built his dream home south. I wonder, they pretty much just, they think he did it from pretty much scratch, Rich, or did he, kind of work as a GC, or, did he kind of pour the footings and all that kind of stuff too? I mean, that stuff gets kind of wild like that. Normally sub that stuff out, but it's pretty cool. Please show it. What do you got, Rusty? What do you got? What do you mean? Somebody else told me to do that too. I thought they were joking. What part? What part? About putting the porta john inside, or buying one, or just calling for service? What part? Dun, 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 dun. I did a lot of the work. Nice. Oh, buy it. Okay. I see it. Yeah, if you buy one, the big thing a lot of people don't know about those is when you buy them, you'll see them online and they're around 600 and some change, 700, 800, whatever. The shipping's where they get you. The shipping's like $200. So, and you're probably going to burn a day waiting around, for them. Or if you can even just find one, locally, if they're in the like 975 to 1200, they're in the ballpark. You know what I mean? If you can, obviously lower is better. But they, when you do the math, and then what you can do is on the first time, you can basically buy RV fluid, the RV stuff you use for, the toilets inside the RVs, the blue fluid. You can actually, add more and it'll last longer because those guys only put in like 5 gallons and that's not much. It'll evaporate. So you can add more, get like 10 or 15 gallons in the tank, and then it'll, put the solvent in with it, whatever the ratio is, maybe a little heavier. It's kind of like, how it is, like weed killer, you just add a little more, a little more, a little extra. So, and that way, you can just do what you got to do, and you'll be able to sell it too if you end up not using it down the road. Have them come pump it out, and you'll probably sell it for, you can sell it from, $300, $400, $600. I mean, they sit outside pretty well. The sun will eat them up over time. Thought they were rental only. Now, a lot of places, you can call most, it all varies. I mean, like some septic places, will do it, and some don't even rent out. Like they don't even rent out porta-johns. It just depends on how rural of an area you know what I mean? Like we got one up at the trailer, and if you want something kind of luxurious, then buy a handicap one. But the handicap ones are very pricey. Like we're talking like $2,300, a lot of money. But they're nice for, maybe, like wintertime, they take up a big chunk of space. They're kind of almost like 6x6. And I think if you get the ADHD or whatever, the handicap ones, whatever, I'm saying it wrong, but those ones are more like even like 8x6 or something. But I got one up at the trailer because, for hunting, I mean, when you got all your gear and you're lugging a, whatever on your shoulder, it's just nicer. I had a small one before and it was like, no, thanks. It's like, this is just not, there's just not enough room. At least there and there, you can get out of the weather. You can take off your jacket, kind of stuff like that, and have a little, there's a place out there you can buy a heated seat they can plug in. That's kind of nice. But I was surprised. That most places do, they will pump them without being theirs. It's like they kind of like that instead almost. eBay, Amazon-y. I think if you just Google them, like one is like J&J. J&J's got some, they're about the cheapest. Satellite makes pretty decent ones too, but J&J were about the cheaper. But what I was getting at too is you can actually just add chemicals. The reason I ever got started with them is because at the shop, when we first got there, there was nothing. It was just a building, dirt floors, no water. And for the secretary, and I came to find out how much of a real pain in the hiney they were, and turned into another business. eBay, Amazon. What it says, I do work for Porta Pie Place. I will see if they have scratch and dent models. Ooh. Good point. Good point. Now, maybe because they know you, but you'd be really surprised. They do not give those porta-johns up. I called many different places. I've talked to many different people, owners. It's like if there's anything wrong with it, they're going to keep it for parts. You know what I mean? Like you can take panels off them. You can take toilet lids, like they do not, absolutely do not like, I almost thought it was like, I've never found anything that's ever said it is. You know how it's like that? There's like that law out there, like you can't sell a toilet. Like, I don't know if it's totally legit. I see them on the side of the road. I see them on Facebook, right? But like, you cannot sell a toilet from your house used. I don't know if the port. I don't know anything about it. I mean, they still get sold. Don't get me wrong, but that's what it was almost like. Like, I'd call these places and I'd be like, "Hey," I was like, do you got one?" And they'd just be like, "We don't sell them." I'm like, "Okay." Like, you don't have one out of the 1,000 in your field that, you just want to rotate, Hello again. What's up, Evan? Did you get a snack or something? I forget. Where you get a little chow? What'd you get? Anything good? Ooh, Jeffrey. He says, had my first intro to high speed doors today. I still don't get the need, but whatever. Yeah, the high speeds are a different animal. They really are. I don't even like high speed. Wayne Dalton actually had the best high speed for the setup that I've ever seen. The problem is I'm trying to think of the one. I can't even think of the company. Is it like, it's like Alberta or something, or Albert? Can't think of that name. Let me look it up since the comments we're so quiet out tonight. Let's do high speed roll up doors. I might not even show who it is. Ryitech. It's not Ryitech. It's gosh, why can't I think of Ryitech ASI. Anybody know what it is? It starts with an A. Why can't I think of it? It's like Albert or something, or Albany. Is it Albany? Let me just type it in. Maybe Google will correct me. Just say Albany High Spirit Doors. So that's probably it. But they are like, the colors don't look right, but it must be Albany. Albany is just like a monkey's hiney to deal with, and they are in a lot of stuff. And then you got to be a dealer, and they're just kind of a pain. They're just a pain. I don't really care. I always thought about people breaking in, like just taking a knife, right? Something like in the movies, cutting open. I guess when you see them in certain situations, they do make sense. Like, I've been seeing them on the car washes more. I get it. Car wash is a real pain, corrosion. So high speed, rubber, all the chemicals. I get it. I've seen them in factories, inside between buildings. They're trying to keep stuff, they're fast. I'm sure when you're running a production and speed, if an employee's got to sit there and wait for a door, and, a sectional garage door just cannot handle that much activity. You know what I mean? Just up and down, up and down. Ooh, warehouse or parking garage. Ooh. Had someone call today, ask if I do doorbells. That's interesting. That is interesting. We always used to get a lot of gutters. Like, I don't know if it's in your guys' area too, but we have a lot of, like, garage doors are related with gutters. Like, we have a lot of they're not as many. I think there's only one now, but we had like 3 or 4. It was like garage doors and gutters. And I'm like, I have no idea how garage doors and gutters even come to exist. Like, I always kind of I could see where, like, gate operators and garage doors, because they're like made, like Lanier makes, they make gate operators, and they also make garage door openers. And then LiftMaster got into the party now too, right? Now LiftMaster, I don't think Genie makes any gate operators that I know of, but LiftMaster does. So I can kind of see the correlation there. But gutters, I know Rich has been watching. Poop smoothie, right? Smells like money. Oh, Coca-Cola bottling. Ooh. At first, today, still. So Jeffrey, did you get it fixed? Did you look at it? Did you just kind of walk away? Was it like they called and asked? I mean, did you touch it? Did you fix it? Did you, kind of just say, not my cup of tea. Show. Only one I saw was on air conditioning facility. We got one. It's we got a place that's up north. Peterson Farms. They actually probably deliver the packages, like when you get for your kids, the packages that got apples, little apple packages, when they get in their Happy Meal. They do a lot of that there, and they got like pads you got to step on with bleach and face mask and all that kind of stuff. And then they got coolers, and they got tons of high-speed doors. The place looks like an airplane facility. It's so big, so much concrete. Jeff, where are you located? Jeff, are they like the curtain doors or Ryitech high-speed doors? Just some Dominoes? You got Dominoes up there? Nice. What'd you get? What kind of pizza? I like me a cheese pizza. Thin crust cheese pizza. Cheese only, man. You can down that puppy. Like me some cheese pizza. Tim Hortons. Amar. I don't know if Amar makes high speed. This one was Albany. Albany is what I remember. I just remember we did it for what was it? It was they had some really big doors there. They're like 20 some feet tall by not real wide, probably like 16 wide. And I remember where they had a motor go bad, and I tried to use a local guy to fix the motor and the windings, and that didn't work out so good. And then I tried to get them directly, and then I had to deal with like basically my competition, so that's always fun. So like you're calling them, and then they're telling you the price, and you're like, like they're telling you the price, and you're like, you're screwing me. Don't tell me that's the price. I know it's just cheaper. You're screwing me. And, and then it's like they'll ask you, well, who's it for? Or what's facility? Or like the thing is that pretty much everything has like a serial number. So it's like in their database, like to see who installed it, where, which facility, everything. So it's like you tell them that serial number because you want to get the thing right. And it's like, now it's like, their salesperson sitting there kind of going, that's our customer. So they didn't want to use us. They tried calling somebody else. Well, guess what, Mr. Affordable Door and Gate? Your price just doubled. And if we can't get it from them that way, we'll get it from you, because we are, dealer direct or whatever. We can't, you have to buy, they only have a certain range. VA. It has to be a rubber door at my day job, but they keep freezing. So I end up getting rid of them. Did Evan, did they put some regular doors in, or did they just leave them open, or what did they do? Jeffrey's got Evan. These were rubber, but interior of the plant. Yeah, I see a lot of them being interior for like forklift drivers, and they're trying to keep like contamination and airborne stuff and dust. And you got to be careful of those rubber doors too. They can, I don't know what I'm kind of trying to say here, but they can get like wind load. So like I've been in ones where they've, they wanted me to quote them or something, and I've like stand in the jams, and I'm like, I can feel a pretty hefty breeze when this like a regular garage door opens. So you got to be careful, because the wind loads on those can be real funny, and they make the door not work right. So there's just a lot of variables with them. They're not like a sectional door where you can just throw a strut on it and just roll with it. If that door is getting too much, if the building has too much vacuum or pressure, the building has pressure in it, that can screw things up. Oh man, Kevin, finally, where you been, man? Food grade facility, trying to keep it sterile. Less time for contaminant to blow in. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Bugs, right? A lot of times they have air curtains. I was going to ask the lady. I didn't think she would know, but I was we went to the ice cream place, and it wasn't quite warm up, but the bugs were starting to come out, you know what I mean? And they had a little air curtain above their sliding window, and I was like, I wanted to ask the lady, be like, guys, use that air curtain up there. It just looks so stinking cute. You know what I mean? It looked cute up there. I don't know how to describe it. I was just like, that little air curtain up there. And I just wanted to be like, I almost wanted her to turn it on just so I could hear it run. But or see how strong it was. But gotta keep the bugs. Ooh, Genie is doing Gates now. Watch SOS. Oh, I guess I have to watch the rest of that. It's in that one, huh? Mm. Rich, do you know where SOS went for the Genie? Where that headquarters is? Is that down by him, down in Cali or something, or is that I don't even know, in Arizona or something? Because I think he's gone there a couple times. Kind of what we had into giant. We had going into a giant freezer, the big freezers. We had a customer. Theirs were like a it was a sliding door. That's what it was. They were sliding, and that was a little bear. They wanted us to work on that. It's like you know, you look at it and you're just like, I don't even know where you get parts for this thing. Like I don't even know how this thing is working. It's got like photo eyes and it's got sensors up at the top and it's got like infrared stuff going on. You're just like, I don't think this is really us, but we'll take a crack at it, you know. And it's like you know how it is. They're like, well, we called the other place. It takes them 6 months to get out here, and it's like, yeah, we probably should get on the list. Like stuffed crust, pepperoni, mushroom. Oh man, you're a fungus eater. That's all right. I am too. Nobody likes the fungus except for me. Oh, they just replaced the rubber doors with gigantic manual sliding doors. Oh man, those sound like cat killers, finger killers. I mean, that's just so boring. Like, that's no fun. Guess you got to do what you got to do. When I was doing sheet metal work, used to do the air curtains. Ooh, the blowers above the doors. Never really got into installing them or messing with them. I mean, it seemed pretty straightforward, but just kind of cool. The fact that you can just blow air and that keeps like, bugs and that from flying. And I mean, it almost seems too simple. You know what I mean? But it's efficient. It works. Maybe that'll be the next side gig of Affordable Door and Gate. We'll be doing some air curtains. What you got, Kevin? What's Kevin got? What's texting? Food grade trying to blow in. Texas? Oh, for Genie? I think it's in Arizona. I feel like it's Arizona too for some reason. Don't know why, but I do have that weird feeling. I figured I know it's over there kind of by him. Maybe what I should do is I should reach out to him and say, hey man, next time you go, bring some Uncle Dave. Bring a sprinkle of Uncle Dave. I'll stir some stuff up. I'll be down there like their salesperson told me, right? We only have 1% failure rate. And I'm sitting there like eating my steak, like, oh, really? Like, that's great. Like, we need that. So, Dave, you ready to buy a skid yet? The steak is mighty yummy. I don't know. I might need 2 or 3 more. And I did. I went a couple times. He was nice enough. He was a nice guy. We go out for steak, but then we got some, and they were better. They were better for a long time, but they all have their glitches. They all have their spats. I don't know how they get their spats in them, honestly. It's like they try to switch different vendors, or maybe the vendors, who knows, like the cough syndrome. That was a nightmare for everybody. Maybe we need another cough syndrome. Maybe that'll stir up the economy, right? What's Evan got on here? I think it was classified. It was classified. What was classified? What did I miss? The Epstein case or what? Food grade. Manual. Holy cow, we got Eric here. Eric, I missed you on, what was I messing with the other day? I was missing me some Eric Freeze. What was I messing with? I swear. Oh, I was messing with the TV. Oh, Eric, how could you let me buy An Amazon TV. The wife of Tron did it. Blame her. Blame her. Could not believe it, dude. That thing is just still haven't got that thing running. Waiting for adapters. Waiting for adapters. I know. I know. You can give me my spankings now. I can just hear it. It was bad. It was bad. Might be a nice vacation. I was listening to I'll listen to SOS. He's always got some great content. I'll get all my goodies from there. I think it's always kind of funny because I'm always like, I'm open, right? I'm open. But I think I'm kind of like the Scotty Kimmler, right? I don't think they're gonna invite me, just organically because I might put them in their place. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna I'm looking out for the blue collar man. And I'm gonna tell them how hard it is. Like when stuff is not right, and when you have issues and glitches, and why do you do this, and why don't you do that, and certain things, and why don't you provide it? I mean, I think we're right there with the car manufacturers, though. You know what I mean? Like they just, when they were like, and maybe some people don't know, especially maybe. I mean, I never knew it for a long time. Heck, I only learned it like 5 years ago or something. But when they're sunsetting, they're sunsetting. I think I'm saying that right. Right there, when they're sunsetting something, right? I was like, what is that? And that's when they're phasing out, right? And that's when I remember years ago when LiftMaster did that to me with the ATS, right? The LiftMaster ATS was my last holy grail opener for my Amish community. And that was my go-to, man. That was my go-to. Just a standard ATS, not an ATSW. The black square covers, just an old school ATS, man. That was my go-to. I would program that thing off a dirty generator right out there chugging. All the bolts are rattling on it, right? I'd be sitting there setting limits, and I'd unplug it. I could plug it back in. I could unplug it. I could come back in 2 years, could be 100 years, and that thing would be right on. The limits would just never change. Boom, boom. I never had any fear. So I'd set that thing all set up. And that way, when they had power, all you have to do is plug it in. And I never had to make a service call back. The remotes were good. Everything was good. And then they come out with the ATSW. Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's so much better. Why can't I just get my old ATS? Don't take my old ATS. If if I gotta pay $20 or $60 more, because can I keep it? Well, the plant's only so big, and we can't have. That's why I just don't like when they don't treat us like adults. You know what I mean? Like I want options. They'll give you options on cars, right? Well, they don't give you the underneath crap or the good stuff, right? They give you like, well, this one's got leather, and this one's got heated seats, and I'm like, oh, some more stuff to go wrong. Okay, awesome. Derek says, hey. What's Kevin got? Yeah, LiftMaster used to make an opener for sliders. Don't still know if they're available. Been about 10 years since I installed one. Yeah, it's about for me too, Kevin. I installed one. They're pricey. I remember looking at them and stuff like that, and I was always like, can't you just use a standard trolley and just mount it on the side? But they had some unique little features to them that were nice. Now I think with that arm, right, that arm I showed you about the best what's that thing called? It's called the the side mount opener. That video I did with that bracket that Rich B introduces me to. Thank you, Rich B. Could you use something like that on the trolley? Maybe nowadays. Now I have more confidence. I could figure it out a lot easier. But back then, it seemed like if you went to order a sliding one, it was just like, ooh, man, it was like another $600 or $800,000, $1,200. It was just a lot more money. It was like, ouch, ouch. But I did one, and the customer finally agreed to pay the hefty price, and it worked. Did okay. What's this? I don't want to know, Eric. What's wow mean? Don't you want to know? You can beat me up later. Meet me out in the parking lot. Maybe there was a bottle, It was, are you under the influence? I don't know. I don't know. If I remember to do it tomorrow, I'll show how I fixed a square rail in tight ceiling situation. Ooh, door was low headroom, probably regular 12-inch track. Ooh, did you cut the rafters? Don't cut the rafters. If you do cut the rafters, don't tell the customer you cut the rafters because they're going to want a structural engineer or a contractor to confirm that it's structurally sound. I'm just messing. I mean, it did happen. It happened to one of our guys. If you want me to tell you more, I'll tell you more about it, but I'll leave it short and sweet. What? Put him up in a hotel and a few meals. Ooh. I hope they were steak. There you go. Does Liftmaster? I don't think so. I don't think so, Tim. That's just, it's going to be interesting. I encourage you guys. Let's go to the IDA. Let's go to the IDA next year. Let's blow it up. Come on. It's early enough to start planning ahead. Let's do it. I'm planning on it. I want to go. I'll tell you the last time I went to IDA, though. This was my impression when it came to kind of Genie and Liftmaster. Not going to say it's going to be this way. We'll see. We'll see, right? I remember when I went there, for one, I went to Genie. A couple people there knew me. They were really, excited to show me some stuff. They were very kind and courteous and just like let you into their house. You know what I mean? Just like, wow, this is really nice. Answer any questions, everything great. I went over to Liftmaster and it was like a bunch of young kids. And it was like we got suits on. Polos, not suits, but we are the crap and we don't need to explain anything. Like we're John Deere. We're John Deere, man. And we don't have to show you nothing. We don't have to talk to you. We don't have to entertain you. We're John Deere. Eat it. It just, that's the way it kind of felt. Like I didn't get a lot of feedback. Could have just been just a one-off crowd. You know what I mean? And then if you like Morantech, oh my gosh, man, those guys they want to go have beer with you. They're super cool dudes. It's just their product is just kind of, it's hard. It's hard. Especially when you got employees and stuff, but they're great people. Real nice. Real nice. Yeah. If you buy enough, anything's possible, right? A couple bill a year, they'll do anything, jump through hoops. I think we should make a hat. Now I think of that. We got, was it Make America Great Again? We should bring back mechanical limits. Maybe we need to make a hat. That's pretty cool. Oh, it's funny, man. I love it too. Rich he's all on board too, man. I miss my mechanical limits. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I used to kind of have that grief where once in a while they get like a hiccup in them. You guys remember, right? They get the little buck in them, right? It'd buck on you, like the rail would buck. You're like, what the fudge? And you'd be twisting it back just a hair and it'd still be doing something or it wouldn't be enough. You'd be like, what is going on? Once you figure it out, hey, I got to pop the cover off. All you do is take your razor blade, right? Take your little Leatherman, whatever. Take your pocket knife, take your Swiss Army knife, and you just scrape that thing. Even though I never seen nothing come off, never seen nothing clear, never seen flakes. It's just stainless steel. But you scrape both sides, boom, it was good to go. You know what I mean? Like once I knew that trick, never had a problem with them. Just clean them up. Anytime I did a gear kit, I just clean them. I always just take my knife and scrape across them. Kind of like flossing teeth, and away they went. They work great. What's Rusty got? I checked the ATS for replacement today. Gonna do an ATSW now. Love it. Do rear mount torsion. Ooh, rear mount torsion. So I checked a ATS for replacement today. So you're saying you can't get ATS parts anymore? Or is it just, I mean, you can't get the ATS as far as I know anymore. You can't get anything mechanical limits as far as I know. And then what? Genie's been away from mechanical limits for, I mean, I think the only one out there right now is that, oh, help me out here. The old age is catching up with me. What's the Menards brand that nobody likes? Guardian. Something's, what is it? It's right there. I can just see it. Mounts, wall mouses, but not enough room above tube. Oh, come on, Rusty. You're always giving me crap. Come on, man. Get that extension piece, right? Get that little chain extension piece they charge like $60 or $80 for. Come on, man. Come on, man. Be cool. Don't be doing that, trolley stuff. That's old school. Nobody likes that. That's garbage. I just got you some crap. What's this? Didn't cut rafters. Entire garage was drywalled. Ooh, snap. Oh, what's Eric got? He says the ATS is a scam. He says it's just like the 8587 with different case. Well, now the 8587 is discontinued. Oh, it's always something. It's always something. Get richer. The crew music. Start my heart. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh man. Come on, man. You gotta send me that clip. I gotta send me a link to that one. I gotta hear it tonight before I go to bed. Look at this guy. Eric's got me crushed was great again. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh man. I'm thinking about getting some shirts made. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I could put so many. I should like rotate through the whole thing every day. I'll just wear a different one. I don't know how many days. I think it's like a Friday. I don't know. Wife was looking into it. For the IDA. Ryitech's, they still around? I believe so. I mean, Service Spring, I thought was where well, yeah, I was getting through Service Spring. Jeffrey, you ever deal with those? You ever deal with Ryitech? They're just a little different. I'm not saying they're bad. I mean, I installed a few, and man, I tell you, I've unplugged and they never lost their limits. The keypad kept working. I mean, they're kind of robust little machines. Like their light really stunk, but they admitted to me they gave me the cheapest model. And so I was always tempted, but I just never really had the situation or the customer for it, if that makes sense. It was always like, I want to stick with something local or almost like a family member, or they're not not real sexy machines. They're kind of ugly. They look like a cheap vacuum you get from the grocery store, Medderhat says McCann was great again at the IDA. I should do that. I'm thinking, I was thinking shirts, but now I'm thinking about that hat, that hat. Eric's got me thinking now. Peter's in the house. What's up, Peter? Glad you're here. Hope things are going good. Tell us a story. Tell us what's going on. Tell us good, bad, problems. You got all your fingers? Hey, Peter. What's it say? Get some pictures, Rusty. That sounds pretty good. Oh man, we finally get to see. It's been a minute. We got Jesse. What's going on? It says you can still get ATS opener. It's an ATSW, right? But it's not mechanical limits. Yeah, that's the problem. It needs to have mechanical limits. I don't know if you guys, let me know in the comments. Have you guys experienced any more glitches? It's particular with LiftMaster. I don't think I've ever seen it with Genie except the commercial. But I can't really say I've seen that many Genie get unplugged. But I have had multiple lift masters over the years, ever since they got, anything that didn't have mechanical limits, all the push button. The first time one was with photo eyes. I had a couple that photo eyes would drop out. Customer would call me, their door would be open for the day, right? Which is a common thing. It's the weekend or it's a weekday, right? The door's just open. They're doing yard projects. And they would call and they say, my door won't close. And I'm like, is it doing anything? Is it blinking? They're like, it's not doing nothing. It just won't close. And I'm like, oh. So of course I go out there in the evening. I got it, Rich. Thanks, brother. But so I went out and it was like the photo eyes are dead. I'm like, well, they've changed their design, and LiftMaster is just known for changing all kinds of things without like you really knowing. It's not like they put a big old sign on their box that says, hey, something changed, just so you're aware. Like the keypad, wink, wink, right? The keypad, right? The keypad changed. That was always fun. So I'm thinking, okay, well, it's cost savings, right? And I'm thinking, I'm pretty, this is quite a few years ago. I'm pretty green. And so I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe it's cost savings. Everything's getting green now. So it maybe, but I hit the button and it'd be like the photo eyes would not come on. So the door wouldn't close. It wouldn't blink or anything. It'd just be like in like a froze moment. So sometimes like I could unplug it, plug it back in. And now the photo eyes are on. And I'm like, okay, the photo eyes are on. What do I do now? Like, how do I got to explain this to the customer, or is this going to be consistent? And it only happened once. I mean, I think I had one that it kept consistently kind of doing it over the time. Like it'd be like once a month. So I replaced a unit. But the other one I did it once, it never happened. Then I had another one that they had a horse barn. I installed the openers, go back, and the doors are off. The doors are like, you can, how you're just like something don't feel right when you're pulling in the driveway. And I'm like, so I told the guy and he said, yeah, he says, that's where the doors, that's where they stop. I'm like, what do you mean that's where they stop? Like, that's not where I set the limits. He goes, that's just where that's all they remove. They'll go another 2 feet down. And that's like, so they lost their limits. I'm like, oh my gosh. So after I reset them, and I'm sitting there kind of thinking about it, and I'm thinking 2 of them on the same building. I'm like, what in the deal? And, finally I'm like, do you like shut the power off? And he goes, well, yeah, occasionally. He goes, I hit the breaker, so I don't have to walk out, turn the lights off. I'm like, you can't do that with these openers. Like they need to have consistent power. But then I'm like sitting there thinking in my head, I'm going, what happens if they lose power for 2 days? I mean, and yeah, I never got a call back, but stuff like that keeps me up at night. Master Force, we're getting close. It's not Master Force. Let's see, I'm going to scan down here, see anybody else got it. No. I'm going to find out right now, though. I'm going to find out. I'm going to get me one of these bad boys. Oh, Menards, here I come. Menards, garage door opener. I'm a residential person. I need a garage door opener. Oh, it's not showing me. Come on, man. What's up? Oh, I got to go to their website. Here we go. I was going to say, these are all just like LiftMaster, man. I've never seen so much LiftMaster. Oh, it's coming up. Oh, they got Genie. They got Chamberlain. Oh, come on. They got to still have my, what's up, Eric? Did I die off? Performax. So it's a Performax. I see. Freeze, what you calling me for? I'm on live. May's gonna chew me out about my TV. It's rear mount. Let's see here. It's rear mount, low headroom Dave. Oh, I forgot to pop it up. It's rear mount, low headroom Dave, or I would have a suggested. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Right, you didn't mention that. That's my bad. The 8900. All right, you win. You win on that, Rusty. You get the trophy on that one. Tony, what's new, Tony? What'd you install, man? I'm waiting for my Invictador. I'm so excited to touch an Invictador. Let me know whenever. I'm in no rush. I hope everything's going good. Together and make our own opener. Eric, it's all on you, brother. There's too many. That's like saying we're gonna drain the swamp. It's just, how are we gonna do it? It's just not gonna happen. We can't do it. It's too big. Tony, whoops, jumped on me. Eric. What he says, I'm not last. Oh, because Tony. Tony, man. Tony, I heard you were drilling out a T rail. It sounded like it was going wonderful. I have to check out that video. Is it a short or is it a long form YouTube video? Dun, dun. That's the only thing I do miss. I need to find a way so I can get Tony to come through on my. Tony, you're always more welcome to say, "Hey, man, we got the chat, man. Just say, do the Batman signal or whatever, or just do whatever." Because if I'm free, I'm there. I am there to harass. I've yet to have issues with the new Chamberlain stuff. Well, I mean, come on, Evan. You only do one a year. I mean, you're getting really lucky. I'm just joking with you. I'm glad though. I'm glad you've been having no problems with the Chamberlain stuff. Sometimes they work out their bugs. You know what I mean? Like they kind of come in waves. It's kind of what I've noticed. I know Cap was saying that he did have an issue with that new style photo eye. I don't remember exactly. I think it just like cut out, quit working. I haven't heard a lot on the radar, with them. Look at Richie's. He finally gets through that rail. I just got here too. Then again, power doesn't go out often here, and if it does, it's only for a few hours. Well, yeah, because you guys are cutting us off. I didn't realize we get our power from Canada. Jeez, man, those greedy people are gonna cut us off. Thanks, Evan, for not cutting us off though. Cutting Uncle Dave, I appreciate it. Yeah. No, I remember, like I said, the new, and then what gets me still is I don't like the settings on the LiftMaster. I don't like that I got to judge. Like I was messing with a commercial Genie, and at least what do they call it? Like an over travel limit, I think is what it's called. So like you can set it. Like, so I found out the Genie commercials also, they're kind of the same way. Like you don't want to smack it on the ground. You let them sit about an inch above, and then when they put them through their cycle, they'll kind of hit the ground. And if they don't, you have an overrun, which is a digital. So you can push like one and that'll make it go. And I wish LiftMaster had that kind of feature on their residential, because it drives me nuts when I don't get it set right. And I got to go through the whole setting again. That just really irritates me. Because I'm so old school. I used to be there with a remote, right? Boom, you hit the button up, you come up a couple feet, whatever, 4 or 5 feet, boom, shut her down, give her another quarter turn, whatever, hit the button again, and I only got to worry about one direction, Rusty's got, what is the paint finish warranty on Invictus? Ooh, I don't know. Tony's gonna tell you they're the best. I'll get that for you. I'll send you text tomorrow. I'm not walking out there too tired. Hey, don't forget about me. Let me know too, Tony. I want to know. I'm curious. But you know how it is. It's like who was it? Well, I mean, Rusty was having that problem, right, with the Boeing, but it feels like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like the warranty. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good to have, but if you got to do the work and all that kind of stuff, it's a real pain. You know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, I used to do that kind of a sales pitch to people with the Wayne Daltons, like the 9000 series, it's lifetime, it's lifetime warranty on the paint for any fading, or, people, oh, okay. And I mean, it's a good sales pitch. But yeah, it seems like it's kind of like that insurance claim stuff. You are very, very lucky to ever. It's kind of like shingles. Now I think if I had a place done, and I'm thinking I still never got my warranty from even my buddy. You know what I mean? Like the warranty, whatever. That stuff just never entertains me. The stuff goes bad, they're going to give you like a half a penny on a dollar. Thank you, sir. You check it out. Extension springs. Check out the extension springs. They're not using cables. What? Come on, man. What you gotta be throwing me that? I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight now with that kind of stuff. I mean, they're not using cables. What are they doing? Using rubber bands, rope? What are they using? You got a video on that, Tony? What you got? Oh, Ruben. What's up, Ruben? Hope you're doing good tonight. Sometimes customers trying to adjust the programming, but won't tell you. But yes, I've had glitches too. Oh, so I'm not the only crazy one. I do remember that one. I think was on a Genie. Now Genie actually I think has the best setup because their stuff's in a square box. You know what I mean? It's underneath. And I tell you what, I was getting irritated. I started going, I don't know why it is. I think I'm the only one. We go through these phases, man. We start getting people with like bad credit cards, or we start getting people with like faulty checks, or we get people that are messing with programming, or we get openers that are just like on the same, like, wow, we've had, photo eyes and stuff. But anyways, the genies, they're in that square-ish box, recessed right underneath. And I got real close, and I was going to go talk to our card maker, whoever, right? Or go to what is it, Vistaprint or whatever. I don't know what's that one too. We always get the book on. But anyways, I was going to get one of those stickers like they do at the gas station that if this thing is peeled, this is invalid. You know what I mean? Because boy, I was bummed, man. I remember I got a call from Lowe's, and they're like, "Hey, you got a work order." That's how they always said it. You got a work order. You got a work order for a job that you did a week ago or something. I'm like, what? I'm like, where at? Secretary's telling me, and I'm like, no way. I'm like, Uncle Dave did that job. There's no way. That's all messed up. Like, and it was a job that was all of an hour and 15 minutes one way away. And I'm thinking, no. I mean, I did everything in my power to make sure this thing went right. I was like, there's just no way. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll go back out there. I go back out there. The door is like off. It's like a foot off the ground. It's something else. I'm like, what in the is this a faulty unit? Did they lose power? Did they I'm up there doing my thing, and this old man comes, he goes, yeah, he goes, I ended up trying to program my car remote. He says the one that's built into that thing, it won't program. And I'm just like sitting there, and I'm just like, I looked down at him, and I wanted to be like, do you want to admit to that? Like, can I make a video, or can I have you sign a paper? Because somebody needs to pay for this. Now, the thing is, if I go to Lowe's and they're going to try to go after the customer, and the customer is going to be like, oh no, I didn't do nothing, blah, 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 or whatever. But I like wanted to grab this guy, let's just say, and I wanted to shake him a few times and say, are you serious that you're up here screwing around with this freaking opener? Like, I gave you the goddamn remotes, now use them. So yeah, people can mess with stuff, man. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. Oh, I think let me scroll up here if I can. Check your phone. What's it got? Anything good? Doesn't show nothing. Just showed I think I had a missed call. Pretty good for its age. Tony, that door looked pretty good for its age. It's got when I'm setting limits on AC chain drives, you don't run it closed. When setting close limits, you got to run it till the door is a couple inches from the ground and let the trolley drag. Yep. That's what I don't really care for. Like I don't even understand the reason behind it. I don't even, like, why can we hit the up limit, but we can't hit the down limit? It gets irritating. It's just like you're kind of in la la land. And then the thing that drives me nuts is that we got to go through the whole cycle again. You know what I mean? Like we gotta reprogram, and then limits and force settings. And it's like, oh my gosh. I'm just waiting for the day. I don't think anybody's had one lock up on them yet, but I'm waiting for the DC to like just go brr, and it's be like beep, 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 brr. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Like, I don't have a backup. And I'm 2 hours away. What do I do? Like, I'll tell you, like, I remember one time I was dealing with a 12-foot tall door. And so It used to be, I believe both of them used to carry it. They both Home Depot and Lowe's used to carry screwdriver genies. That was kind of glorious days. And even though they're a piece together rail, they used to carry them. And I will tell you what, I was up north from the shop, probably all of right about an hour away, one way. And I remember I dropped, if you ever put a genie screwdriver, they got a little clip where the two shafts come together. They're kind of like two fingers that kind of, and then you got to put a collar over it, and then there's like a clip to keep that collar from coming over. And I lost a clip. I lost a clip or the collar, one of them. And I mean, I was just searching up and down. I mean, I was searching the ladder. I was searching my pockets. I could not find that clip. And I was like in freak out mode. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, it's like imagining, like, could you imagine like if you didn't have a zip tie, but it shuts down like this whole factory? You're like, just because of one zip tie? That's what it felt like. And I'm just like, I can't believe that I actually thought they didn't send it. I'm like, they didn't send. I mean, um, I'm calling Home Depot, I'm calling Lowe's, I'm walking, I'm pacing in this building. I'm in there by myself. It was on the weekend. I got access to it. Because normally it's just busy in there. The guy did car wraps. He actually was the guy that did my the wrap on the Raptor and our van at one time. And I mean, I'm like, cannot find it. And luckily, I was on the phone and I was standing away from the table and I could see right by the box. And somehow it must have hit the ground or fell off the table. And I mean, you guys ever feel that where like you pick that thing up and you're like, oh, like I mean, I was just like, I wanted to like put it in my mouth and like chew on it, like, don't lose it. Don't lose that. Don't swallow. Don't swallow. I was so ecstatic. So ecstatic. I found it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm in code red. I'm calling the wife. I'm like, what? Like, you need to go to the shop. Like, you gotta find one out of the dumpster. Or, like, like, I don't know where it's at. We gotta find a clip. I mean, like, I don't know where to find this thing. And of course, none of the box stores carry them anymore. So it's like, and it's on a weekend. So what do I do? Ah, I've lost many sleep. Many sleep. Doris, close. It just doesn't give me issues. What's our guy here? Only if the TS200s at my grandparents' houses. At my grandparents' house have a lifetime paint warranty. I don't know on the TS200s. Probably not. They probably did it on the residential 9000, but probably not the TS200s. Do you know or don't? Or they do or don't? Those things are rust. I never care about warranties either. He says I'd rather just fix it than deal with the hassle. Yeah, it just seems like they're gonna make you go through so much red tape. I mean, isn't that kind of how the world works, right? It's like insurance. I mean, if you use insurance, they're gonna increase your premium. It's only like it's really just there. It's stuff is for catastrophic. Oh my gosh, my house burnt and it burnt all the way down. You know what I mean? Or it burnt halfway or something like that. You know what I mean? But like if you drop wax and burn your carpet, no. I mean, there's so many times I came across people and I was just trying to be genuinely honest with them. They would tell me, they go, well, we hit my garage door, and depending on what it's going to cost, I got a $5,000 deductible. And I'm like, like we're probably not going to be at $5,000. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I still should. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Not, it's just not. And sometimes they even have a $500 deductible or something. And I would, we're talking, $800, and I'm like, just don't even, just don't do it. Just pay for it. I'm just telling you. I'm just trying to be honest. It's chains. What you got for chains? Yes, Rich, they were in good shape. Security tape. Yeah, security tape, man. I'm telling you. I was seriously thinking about it. But on the LiftMasters, I was like, well, how do you do it on a LiftMaster? Because it's just all open back there and there's wires and the wires go through. But the Genies, the way they got that square recess and it went in, I went, I could put me a nice little piece of tape over this. Um, and that way I could see if they were in there touching it. Cause boy, that's irritating. That costs you a lot of time, a lot of money, gas, wear and tear. Mm. And door I've seen with age has faded paint. Even Wayne Dalton door I've seen. Yeah, Wayne Dalton's they all it just all depends. You know how it is. It's that whole sales gimmick. It's like when LiftMaster, right? Does LiftMaster still, I don't know if anybody knows, do they still offer the lifetime warranty on their motors? AC and DC? I don't know if they do. I just remember that was always the thing. You'd be like, it's got a lifetime on the motor, right? And the people are thinking the whole head unit, right? That's the motor, right? When you're like sitting there, you really just mean the AC motor that's inside that never goes bad. Now with the DCs, I don't know about that. We're going to see how those DCs hold up over time. Peter's got Copay will give me credit if I place a door under warranty. They give you credit. Ooh, gotta watch. I'll watch it. I will watch it. I'll try to hopefully get to it. Holy moly. Mr. Cowboy Boot, Chevy running, big garage door man is here. What's up, Tanner? Anything new out there, Tanner? Anything big and beefy? Good evening, Tony says. Maybe we should ask Tanner. I don't know if Rusty ever told me. Rusty does the 6.6 burn oil gasser. Tanner, and he takes on the 6.6. I've been glancing at 6.6 gasser. Do they burn oil? Anybody have problems with them? I'm sure, like anything you do, no maintenance on them. They could be problematic. The only thing I did see, what I didn't like, is they are direct injected. That was only thing. So the valves can get build up on them, and they're talking, what is it? I think Dave's Garage and all that, they talk about whatever 100,000, 120,000, 150,000 intervals about getting a walnut shell blasted. And I think that's just pure manure. Like, I'm like, could you just spray some seafoam in there every oil change and, mitigate that? Or, but I've watched some that's, you know how it is, like some they like doctor up, I think, where you're like, whoa, I did it. And then they watch other ones and the guy's like an average Joe. And he's like, here's a before and after. And you're like, there's no difference. Like, so is anything working? Eric Guy says, do you still install the Genie screwdrivers? I try to. I can't say, I don't think the guys are ever really sold on them. A lot of the guys are still LiftMaster. They like the LiftMaster. I don't know if it's just because they're easier to set up. But I try to stick with the Genie screwdriver, man. The screwdriver is fast, which I like. It's a pretty rapid door. Haven't yet had to replace a trolley on the newer style screwdrivers. They're plastic, as far as I can tell. Maybe with some kind of insert metal. I don't know. I never tore one apart. I never had a problem yet with them. But I like them. They're, like I said, it's just, they're the cleanest shirt, in the dirty laundry basket. That's it. I'm not saying they're the glorious or they're the the king, because LiftMaster has their spot too. But the Genies are they're so solid to me. It's like when they stop, you don't see a lot of jiggling. If people stop them midway, they'll make a little clack, here and there, but I just like the way they run. They're fast. It just depends on the situation. They're strong. I think screwdrivers are just super strong for some reason. If you come across a wood door, like they're just like the universal workhorse to me. Like I just like them, I like them for like 12-foot doors. Like if you're doing a semi-commercial door, I feel confident that if you put like even a mid mount in a solid rail one, the piece together rails were always kind of a little clunky clunk. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yes, he says I hate the screwdrivers. A little damn clip. Oh my gosh, dude! I'm telling you, been there for the. When you're by the professional series ones, there's all one solid rail. And life is a little better. But no, that door had to be. It was like 12 or 14, something like that. But that one had a 2-piece rail, and man, that clip. I mean, I was going bonkers. Can you imagine being up north in no man's land? I mean, there was stuff around, but I mean, like, you're just like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, dude, I came up here on a Saturday trying to get ahead. Like, the world is just beating me up. I mean, I'm trying to get this. I just wanted to do this one job today and get this out of my life. I wanted to do a good job. And here I am on a Saturday, and I'm missing a piece of tin metal clip, and I can't finish my job. It was just like, oh, that was not a good feeling. That was not a good feeling. Okay. We got the truth coming out here. It says yes, 6.8 burns, a quart per 4,000 miles. Okay. That's what I kind of hear. I didn't really hear a reason why. I heard like one guy, like he said when he bought the truck new, like at 1,300 miles, he like changed the oil. And then I don't know when he was changing oil every 3 or 5,000. I don't know what he was changing, but then he's at 23,000. And he says, you don't burn the oil. And I just thought, are they using low tension, piston rings in that truck, or is it kind of a design? Why is it burning? Is it, nah, I'm not 100% gas trucks. He says, I don't drive them. He says, the guy just bring them or a mechanic to get oil changes. He never told me anything to worry about. I do have a video I need to send you, Dave. He says, I may need to call you on this one. We installed new doors for a customer, and now he wants me to fix or replace his gate actuators. It says, or a whole system itself. Let's jump over to this one part. I've not done that. He said I messed with rolling gates, arm gates, but not the swing gates. Oh, give me cold shoulder. So now I'm really wanting to fix it for him. Yeah, Tanner, I always help you out, man. Let me know. Check them out. Send me a little video clip or make, model, all that good stuff. It rings the books in my head. What's that been guy here? Who had Superior screwdriver? Superior? Liftmaster or Genie? That's a good question. Superior? I don't know. Ruben's guy. This is my Chevy 02 6-point. Has been extremely good to me. Had it for 19 years, still running strong. Dang, man, those are good, solid, man. Is it a pretty nice truck? Is it pretty like rust free and stuff like that? Man, those are pretty solid trucks, man. I keep my eyes out for one of those. It's kind of weird. I don't know for sure. I kind of heard rumors. Now I got a little bit of a bad. Now I can't say nothing bad about. I had a 6.0, right? I bought it as a work truck. It had a knock to it, right? So that's what I'm saying. It had a little knock. The knock has gotten a little worse, let's just say. And then one day the employee was driving it not too far down the road, and he calls me and goes, I think the motor locked up. And I'm like, why would you say that? And I'm like, did you check the oil in it? Well, I went to turn, and it just like, I'm in the middle of the turning lane. I'm like, all right, I run down the road. We get it pushed over. Luckily, it was a buddy of mine's shop. So we just pull it in there. We start monkeying with it. And I seen something coming through Tanner. But so I put a wrench on it. It won't turn, Now the amazing part is I talked to my brother-in-law, and he's like, you can basically put a 5.3 in there. He's like, you can find them really cheap. I did. I found one it was either $600 or $800. It was like on a tire. Wasn't like the super cleanest environment. You know what I mean? Like, it was just kind of like, kind of had plastic over it, half plastic. And I was like, yeah, we're rolling the dice on a weekend, like basically just on a Saturday. We swapped out the motor, got that puppy fired up. I was super impressed. I mean, ran like a champ. But I thought I heard rumors a little bit that people said the 5.3 was stronger than the 6-liter. Now I know the 6-liter's got a little more grunt to her, but and I guess it's kind of like that 4.8. A lot of people, man, they at the LS Fest, boy, they supercharged or turbocharged those 4.8s. They swear by them. You know, I don't know if they just swear by them because they're cheaper and you can find them in the junkyard all day, but they're all solid motors. You know, the 6-liters are good. Just don't know much about that 6.6, and then, you know, whoa, the baby between it there, right? The 6.2. Oh, is a 6.2, and then they moved up to a 6.6, and they didn't know what they're doing with that 6.6. You know, I mean, who's to say? I almost kind of want to see that truck, though. Get pictures, Ruben. Send them an email to Daveadubson. They're in my description below. Always like me, the O2s. I think my business partner, he bought was it like an 2000 or 2001? I remember it was like what do they call it? Pewter? Was it pewter gray or something like that? But it was like tan. I think they had another name for it. No, it's not pewter gray. What was that thing called? It was tan color. Anyways, they had some weird name for it, but his rear end went out in it. That was the only thing. Otherwise, it was a pretty solid truck. But I think he bought it from a guy that was towing too, like a fifth wheel or something. So, you know, boy, now my office manager thinks I can do anything after fixed a airplane hanger door last week. Oh my gosh. Place receiver on opener. That was weird. Oh man. I don't mess with airplane hangers anymore. We used to have the ones that had like what was that company called? Was it just called Bifold? I think it was called Bifold. And they had the straps, you know, they look like toe straps and the motors that would sit and they just hum and they'd like, oh man, those things just got wild. They had like these weird arms to suck in the center because it just pivots. The whole door just like, you know, be like this and it pivots out. And that's how it lifts itself. All you do is watch this thing and you're like, if these straps break, this thing's just going to come down. And it's like weird because there's a lot of little hidden secrets in these things, right? Well, they had a roller on the very end of this airplane hanger, big old roller, big old metal roller, and it kept breaking the roller. And these doors move super slow. And I remember after like the third one, we called the manufacturer. We're like, what is going on here? Like, why are we going through these rollers, man? They're like the bearings, everything just going bad. And it's on metal. So it'll be like the metal stud that the roller was on. It's just and it's just like the I-beam. It's literally like the I-beam of the building. And so I'm like, he's like, well, sight down that thing. He's like, is there any whoops in it? And I'm like, so, you know, I get up there, I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, man, there's just like a fuzz of one. I mean, it's not bad, but he's like, that'll cause the rollers to fail. I'm like, what? It moves so slow. We're not talking high speed here. We're not talking, you know, train tracks, even a train at its slowest speed. I mean, it's way slower than that even. And I'm just like, you're telling me that roller, because there's a little divot that is enough pressure just to, it's such a big door that it just kind of keeps like an impact on it. So we messed with enough of them. We did some cables and stuff, and it just, you know, and it's like they still like they're looking for the cheapest whatever. It's like they don't want to pay, you know, and it's like this is just not worth it. And you have like a bigger lift for certain things, and so we just don't mess with those bifold ones anymore. Tanner says, Dave, you were just shovel being that far north. Oh my gosh, dude. I just couldn't believe it. I've had some really bad experiences north. You know what I mean? Like there was that one, there was the one that I slept in my enclosed trailer and a rainstorm. That was not good sleeping, you know, and the door ran so ragged. I thought I was gonna need pusher springs. It just, you just get into so many unknown situations, especially if you don't, you know, have pictures. Who goes? What it says? Who's got some recent vehicle programming stories? Oh, a recent Audi had me stumped for a few minutes, huh? like going like limp mode. I had the my 6.4. I remember I was doing a tune on it because I was getting rid of a pipe underneath this heavy thing, trying to get better gas mileage. And I remember I put my truck on limp mode. Oh, I was freaking out. I had a big job. The truck was all loaded down. Had a big job I had to do the next day. I'm like calling the manufacturer or whoever made the tuner, and they were luckily enough to walk me through it. I figured it out, but I was freaking out. I was in panic mode. I'm like, what am I going to do? I was like, I got the truck all loaded. I got the trailer all loaded. I need the truck to pull it for the power. I didn't have another big truck. I can't remember, but I think LiftMaster was Professional Series. Was there Screwdrive? Not sure. Yeah, I think there was something like that. I know somebody's got one in the family. I keep looking at it. He even looked at me one day and he goes, "Do you think I should replace that?" I'm like, not really. If it runs, just keep using it. I was like, but I would kind of like to have that. Evan, Jeffrey, I pray on HomeLink. Oh, we're talking about the cars. Gotcha. HomeLink one time and tell you I've been in business. The good old HomeLink. I've had a lot of problems. Recent vehicle program stories. Ooh, the Audi. What did the Audi do? I wonder. Now he's got me curious. Jeffrey, what did it do? Just lock up on you? Did you have to get a repeater? They still do the repeaters. Does anybody have to ever do a repeater anymore? HomeLink and GM and whoever else, all the lobbyists are all good and happy and rich. Tony, I believe all LiftMaster is Professional Series. All seriousness, unless it was 3840, they were probably in the same series, 3255s, 3265s. Good old LiftMaster. Oh, that's the brand door I was working on, but it was sold. It was cable. Oh, cable on the door was very janky. I started moving stuff, adjusting things, had no idea what I was doing, but understood what I was going on. I installed a big bifold with straps for one of the churches 2 years ago because the contractor said they could do. They found out they had no idea what they were doing. Those things are tricky. They got those cables, they wrap a certain way on those bifolds, man. You got to get that right. Those are a pain too, getting the cables. You got to really just get them. It's like once you get it, you get it. You know what I mean? But it's like it always takes me like 10, 20 minutes to sit there and start looking at it again and going, oh, okay, I remember like do's and don'ts. But it just unfortunately I always have to be the one, you know what I mean, where it's like I just can't send they're just too big a liability for the employees and stuff. And like I said, nobody wants to pay. Really, it seems like they'll pay us like our service call, but it seems like I remember I had one guy, and I'm like, dude, like they're recommending like you replace all these straps. Like these things are so many years old, and the guy's like, oh yeah, that's what the other guy said. But I don't want to do that. That's too much money. It's like, but you're got jet fuel over here, and you got 3 airplanes, and there's a BMW sitting in the corner, and that's too much money. Like, I'm so confused. So it's like, and I give a shot, but I also don't know what I'm doing. So that they actually not that hard. Nah, they got, they're, if you play with them, they're just such a long walk from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to walk, it's better to have 2 people there so they can yell, hey, do this, push the button. I can get out there. What's Rusty got? I have to program the audience through the headlight. Dude, I seem like, it's funny you say that. I seem like I remember that. I remember that one time. I think my business partner, remember, he was like, yeah, you gotta go by the headlight. I'm like, by the headlight? Like, what the? Tanner Jeff, I just did a Mercedes. An owner tried for hours. He said, I just found the manual. I took first shot. He says, I was there for only maybe 10, 15 minutes. Nice. Ooh, okay. So new audio programs through the touchscreen. Interesting. See, learning something every day. That's awesome. I did not know that. Evan, I hope you're taking notes. Dun, dun, dun. That's a good one. Says Menards, I would say, kind of me into changing out all quarter on their outside garden bifolds. A few years ago, it was a pain, and the company that installed them said they don't service them. Oh man, yeah. I worked on I can't remember what kind of problem. It seemed like we had a weird glitch, like it wouldn't go up all the way. I think it had a lift master on it, but I remember we did some of the ones for Menards. We just don't really do Menards anymore. They were like, I used to know a girl that worked in there when they had their Tanner, does anybody can comment on this. Does your Menards have a garage door department anymore? Ours doesn't. Like it's all combined into like the building, or it's like but they used to have their own, like, doors, man doors and stuff, and garage doors. And I think that's kind of how I got originally introduced into it, because I knew somebody that worked there, and I'd go in there for pricing or whatever, certain things. And then she started asking me, like, hey, do you work on garage doors? I'm like, yeah, and then, well, could you do ours? I'm like, sure. So I started working on them, and we did quite a bit there, but it just really turned me off at one point when, I remember we brung our scissor lift, and then on the billing, they would not let us, I don't know if Tanner experiences this too, but they would, we couldn't bill for a lift on there. You know what I mean? So we couldn't bill for a lift. And then, so then it was like, okay, well, we can't bill for a lift. So we go there and we have to use, I don't know what they call those things, what they're using. I call them trampolines, like, cause they like a forklift you stand on and you got a harness, and then it's like a trampoline, or I'm not, like a diving board, on the end. And, we think, oh, we're going to be smart and we're going to one up them, we'll tie up one of their lifts. Well, then, you find out that you can't get high enough to the ceiling because the thing got a head rack, like for person standing up. So you do commercial springs, and you're way above your head on this, uh, bouncy board. And it's just like, this is not the right tool for the job. So, what we would do is we just start bringing our lift in, and we would charge, but then they wanted us to, um, clock in. I might have fudged the numbers a little bit, added a 15, 20 minutes here. But they would, I try to add some time, because I'd normally try to add like 2 hours, to their, on the clock to cover that lift. But then we started doing another location farther away, and same kind of thing. And I'd just tell the guy, say, hey man, like, you smoke cigarette, just smoke a cigarette, man. Like, I'm gonna sit here and eat a little lunch or something, because we're on the clock. You know what I mean? And we're in no rush. You know what I mean? Uh, this Tanner guy says, no, it's through the billing desk. He said, I know almost every employee in Menards. I go there about once a month. They are hard on doors. Oh, they are, man. We have to go back soon, replace 2 panels. Door they probably ran into. Yeah, it says right here, ran into a forklift, but they pay good. And every time they do, that is true. Like I said, they normally, I don't remember them squawking about the price too much. It was just like, you couldn't bring a lift. They revamped ours for the long. It was always door 10. Door 10 had 2 doors. But there was always that interior one, and man, we put the highest cycle springs on there, and they would blow us springs in a year, in like, no, maybe it was a couple years. Maybe they get about 2. I think it was about 2 or 3 years. 2 or 3 years. We used to write all the notes up on the wall. So every time we're there, it was like, dude, like, they didn't even make it, like, 3 years with these springs. And these are like, whatever, and that we upped them to like 25, 30,000, whatever, as big as we could. It just seemed like every time we kept upping them in spring cycles, and it was weird because last time we were there, or not last time we were, but I was there picking up some material, and dude, they had some dude like in a beat up old truck with some old scissor lift, man. And hey, nothing against it, right? But I was just like, hmm. I was like kind of like going, hmm. Like I just kept kind of going, like looks like you guys moved up in the world, like and for the longest time, like we'd always have to put like boards up because the spring pads would get so bad because you're mounting to brick. So we had to always put wood up. And then it was like it just seemed like they're always like they want you. There's this real just kind of, when are you gonna be here? When are you gonna be here? When are you gonna be here? And I don't remember what was kind of the nail in the coffin, but we just finally it was like, you know what, this is just not a good fit. Oh, I think it was because they would buy their openers. They do that for you, Tanner. They buy all their sections. They buy all their sections. They buy all their openers. And I think one was a turnoff because it was like door 10 and they had a J50 on there, a LiftMaster J50. And they ended up getting an MJ. And so it's like, you know how this goes, right? Of course, now things, slow down a little bit. Now you're like, oh, I kind of wish I did have them. But, now, then you're so busy with other customers. And then you go to this and you're like, oh my gosh, like, dude, we got two guys out here. Your opener hasn't ran in like 2 weeks or whatever until your new one came in. You didn't want us to provide one. You guys wanted to purchase one. And then it was like, well, now you bought an MJ. Hell no, you can't put an MJ. So then you try to be a slick Willie, right? And like for whatever reason, I don't remember what the reason was. I can't remember if something was just jammed up or how it was, but it seemed like we tried. If memory serves me, we just thought, well, we'll just throw the MJ up there right now to get them by. And the chain's different, so like the sprockets need to be changed. And it's like nothing's going right. Nothing's bolting up the same. Nothing's like, nothing's wired the same. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's like, what in the heck, dude? Why did they order an MJ? It's like, golly, it's like, or they'd order the springs and the springs would be off. And I mean, we did everything to try to always make sure we gave them the right. Well, I just ordered what was last time. Well, last time wasn't right. That's why we told you need to order it this time this way with another 4 inches on it. Just must, well, can you still use them? I guess, but the opener's going to be working harder. And it's like, it just seemed like, I don't know. Bidding jobs. I would penalize you for being good at your job. Yeah, you're kind of on the clock, it seems like, to the most part. But they do, like I said, but you got to have that PO. That was another thing for us. You have to go, and then sometimes employees were not good about that. It was like they come back and I'm like, looking over the paper, I'm, where's the PO? Well, I clocked in and I clocked out. Yeah, you needed to talk to a manager. Like, did you get a PO? Like everything goes off that PO, dude. Well, and then I have to call, or it's like you have to go back, or it's like, it's like, oh my gosh. No, I did not. No, I didn't see him. I've met him, but I didn't see that video of his. Oh, yeah, Menards get all their own sections and openers and springs. It's like washing paint. It takes forever, months sometimes. Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's why, like I said, it's I don't know. It just seemed like we spent a lot of time. There was a lot of glitches. It was almost like you just need to have a sales rep. So it's like they would contact you and they'd say, hey, we got in whatever, and you're like, oh, okay. And you send the sales rep out there in his nice little Polo and his nice little economical green car that gets good gas mileage. And you'd send him out there and he'd go over everything and measure everything and look at everything and check everything and go, it's going to work, boys. You can send 2 guys out tomorrow or the next day or whatever. We can send 2 guys out with a fully loaded truck, and you can send 2 workers and a fully equipped everything, and you can bring a scissor lift. you got the green light, guys. Where it was like it's like, we'd designate half the day or 3/4, and it's like we get there and it was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is not, we had to check in, it's always, the guy always used to joke with me. It's pretty funny. He always be like, "You here for work or you here for pleasure?" I'm like, I'm here for work today. And you have to go back there and do whatever. But I like the old setup better. They changed the design of the back end of the building now, and it's a real bear. It's a bear just to get a cart through the damn place. I don't know what they were thinking when they designed it. Like, I'm always like, they got weird sections, and I'm like, am I like breaking the law by coming back here with a cart? Like, they make it so narrow, and they got like barriers and stuff. And where they got the garage doors now, they got like a desk right there by the garage doors. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of glad, like, I'm not working in this. Like, there's just too many people and it looks dangerous. And at least when I used to work on door 10 a lot, it was just employees, and they were at least had kind of common sense to just leave us alone and stay out of our way. But now where it's at, there's just too much people traffic. I just, and low or Menards was one of them too. When I used to work on the sliding doors, oh my gosh, man, I would tape the damn thing off. And people, I'd open up, they have, Menards typically has the sliding doors, and then they have man doors on both sides of the sliding door. I'd open up by both side doors wide open, right? We'd find garbage cans or whatever to prop them open, rope. I don't know what we do. I mean? We prop them way open. I would barricade, and you would not believe how many people just go under the tape. And I'm like, look, I'm like, dude, I'm like, we're working here. I'm like, I got the cover open on this thing. Like, this thing could fall down and really hurt you. Oh, I didn't know. How did you not see the doors on both sides of the sliding doors wide open and not see the red caution tape? Like, and you just walked under it. I seen you lift it up. Are you stupid? So I would actually, um, because sometimes, like, when you're by the check-in, it's like you need to have, like, there had to be like 3 people, almost like 4 people, 3 people or 4 people that had to go. It's almost like you needed 2 guys on each side to tell people, nope, use the man door, because sometimes you're just, you're lifting a cover or you're pulling on a motor or something. And it's like, man, if you drop this, like, if somebody with an adult with their kid and it whacks them on the head or something, jeez. I think they call them pickers. Pickers. For those lifts, pickers makes sense, right? They just go pick stuff off. I think they're the only place I've ever seen them use those little lifts that they do. What's up, Chip? Chip's got, when programming home link on your cars, it must be ignition on position, press start button, foot on brake, otherwise won't work. Good to know. Good to know. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, Mr. Tanner. Oh, this is hi. This is I just drove and do my thing and leave. Mark down my time on the work orders, but I have never clocked in or out. Menards is like my second home. Was always do door work for almost all our local lumberyards. Love small town. So he's gotten this next one. Yeah, we never really had to. It's like they started cracking down. You know what I mean? Like, we was just like, we go in there, we do our job, we give them some hours. I remember it just got red flagged, boom, right away. Red flagged. It was like the scissor lift was an issue. So then I found the workaround. And so then I had to add like an hour or two on there, right? And it's like, I'm assuming it's not for us only, but it was like also now it was like we had to go up to the front desk. So it's like, you got to get through security. You got to park. You got to find somewhere to park. Now they got it changed with that too. You can't even park up by the doors. It's like that's all like what do they call it? Their pickup zone in our location. So like now you'd even have to park farther, which the other door company was. And then you go in there, right? And that's hoping everything is right, right? So it's you, a truck, maybe 2 guys, a lift. You got to walk all the way to the front of the building, which is not really too bad, but you got to walk up there, right? You got to stand around. Well, I think it might have changed. Now the service is in the back. Yeah, I think the service center is in the back of the store. So that might be better. Maybe you don't have to walk all the way to the front, but you have to talk to a manager, right? We'd have to talk to a manager, or we have to get somebody, hey, you got to sign in, all right. So we sign in, like I said, normally, I had 15, 20 minutes because I don't know which way things are going to blow. We do our work, right? And then it was always like, depending on how it goes, right? Sometimes we had bad work, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate to this. I mean, you know how you have bad work? Like bad work is just like, I want to get the heck out of here. Like I am so disgusting and sweaty and up in the ceiling, and hot summer day or something just went really wrong, or you had to pull every ounce of MacGyver out of you that you're just like, I'm done. I am done. So then you leave. Well, maybe you remember to clock out, maybe, or maybe not. You know what I mean? You're just packing up the truck, whatever. You're just thinking about that soda in that vending machine or a glass of cold water. And so but now you got to clock out. And then you got to remember, don't forget to get the PO. Now the PO seems like it's got to be a bigger high up, at least with ours. So then it was like, you had to wait for somebody, and then they, did you get her all fixed? And you're kind of want to, sometimes for me, it was like, yeah, I got her fixed with your wrong freaking order. You ordered this section 2 inches too short, so it ain't right, but it's going to work. We made it work. And, something like that, or the opener it's supposed to be a J50 and it's MJ. And I'm just like, how did you guys screw this up? Or, their springs would be off, they'd order, they just, it was just kind of it went on for ours. And we just kind of said, you know what, we're kind of beyond this point. You know what I mean? So we end up, just being done. It was good learning. It was all good stuff, but I don't miss the hustle and bustle of it. I like the contractors more, I like the bigger stuff, but so then, and then, like I said, if you got employees, and if they don't get the PO, oh man, then you're just really in a world of hurt. Let's see what we got here. All right. Must have national accounts, further stuff like doors and bigger building equipment. I don't know. Ours is kind of weird like that. It's like they let them be kind of independent, where like a lot of other companies will use like a third party. I'm sure some of us have worked for those companies, right? They call you, and then you got to get their store stamp and all that kind of stuff, or give them a price. I don't know exactly how they work. Maybe they just haven't been big enough yet. Maybe eventually it will turn into that, Rusty, you might be ordering those doors I was talking about from Menards. Find out soon. Nice. Menards. They're there to save the day. It says, oh yeah. Talked to her yesterday about doing any storage condo building. Sounds like 90 14 by 14. Okay, so I was gonna say like little doors. I said I'll be working 100 hours for a 100 hours weeks for a minimum, or for mine. He says, or for men. Yeah, it'll be. Like I said, I was thinking like the small ones. Hey, man, the small ones we can never land small doors. The bigger ones, that would be nice. I wish we had something like that. We don't have that kind of big ones like that around here. So this can park by the doors. He says, I do have a newer guy coming out a few months ago, and was like, can I park there? He had a big feather hat. I was like, oh no. He says, I can, it's fine if you got right on his radio. Oh, his radio. Two of the managers said it's okay to leave him alone. Nice. Heck yeah. Yeah, like I said, ours just never really changed, for the better. It's good to hear that they're still, like out there. It's kind of like the old school, but like I said, our whole back end got revamped. It's just really cumbersome. Like, I mean, it's just to the point where it's like, it's not very user friendly where they're at. And you know how I kind of get like a little bit of like, at least with this location, you get like a little bit of satisfaction. At least I did, when I seen who they were using, I was kind of like, I was like, who are these guys? I was like, this is just some dude in like a 1999 Chevy pickup that's really pretty rusted out with a what do you call it? A service bed, a scissor lift trailer that looks like DOT would say, yeah, that doesn't belong on the road anymore. That should have been taken off probably about 15 years ago. And a really ancient scissor lift. And I remember when I looked up, all I seen the one dude and I seen a lot of butt crack. And I was like, yeah, I was like, you guys just keep plugging away. I thought, I don't remember. It seemed like we had a few they had a few things on some prices because they were kind of like shopping around. And it seemed like I remember Cap was just like, yeah, I don't think we're going to be entertaining this much, much longer. And I said, yeah, it's just not the right fit anymore, And for us, every other location is, how far are they? The one is an hour and 30 minutes. That'd be north. And then the other one south that would be about an hour, and that's going through two major cities. That's a real bear to drive. So it's like our other one is, how far is that one? It's about 20 minutes, which was bearable, and like I said, in the younger years, it wasn't that bad. It was kind of like what Tanner's like. You're kind of just you just do your thing and you're on your way. It was kind of nice, but now it just seems like it's too corporate where it's just, you gotta clock in, you gotta clock out, you gotta have a PO stuck to it. You gotta, you can't park out by the thing. It's turned into that, I don't know how to describe it, but I see, where they'll bring it out to you type thing. You know what I mean? It's like they just got two lanes of cars lined up. It's just not fun anymore. Richest guy says, surprise Menards didn't have you do that work after hours. They who knows, man, who knows? I mean, they were normally pretty good with us, like shutting, because they have enough doors to kind of get around. It seemed like, there was a couple side. I don't know so much about it now, the layout, because it's like now, like they like cut off the back of the building. So there's like only like two doors on the corner of the building, and they're in this like room they blocked off, and there's like a desk in there. It's like, I don't know how to like describe it. It's like almost like it reminds me of it'd be like a drive-in restaurant where you sit in your car, dine in. I don't know how you say it. What are those ones called? Like where they drive up, and they just come out to you, like you don't go inside. So it's like they're in that little desk, and it's like they're getting notified that somebody's there to pick up. You know what I mean? And it's very cumbersome in there. It's so tight. And then I've walked through there many times with a cart. And I'm just like, they make it so, and then it's like they make it so I have to go through the garage door. So I'm always like, am I technically supposed to be touching the garage door? Like that's a pretty big object to be always moving for just a little cart, where I used to have two swing doors, and now they just have one single man door, which you ain't getting no blue cart through there without just banging the heck out of it. So it's almost like you walk in there and it's like they're staring at you, just like, what are you doing? Like you should have placed your order and just drove around. And I'm like, I'm just going to get a freaking 2x4 or, a chunk of metal or something, for a roof. And I'm like, like I just need a cart though. I don't want to carry this thing the whole time. And they just kind of look at you funny. I had a kid at church helping me a few hours a week when he wasn't in class, and he was trying to get a job at Menards, just easier than driving to us. It was closer for him, but he had applied twice. And what's he got? And nothing. Then his buddy applied and got an interview and got the job. So, he was kind of down after I found that. I called the manager that night and told him to hire him. No interview, just hire. Nice. That's real nice. Let's say him. He is a good kid. Good work. I gave my blessings. Ellis is, he is still there 2 years later, moving up the ladder. Got his mom a job there. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Also, he came into work a few days later and was like, must be more to it. That's cool though. That's cool. We had a couple, there were some managers that were there for quite a long time too. You know what I mean? And then I knew the lady that worked there. And so she would just always contact us, direct and stuff. It was more, just more hometown. Now everything's just real corporate for them. It just isn't, it gets to be such a pain. There's new managers there rotating. It seems like every 6 months, a year. You know what I mean? There's just nobody that stays anymore. There used to be a really nice guy. I think his name was Jeff. Jeff was there for the longest time. Just really super nice guy. And he's no longer there. Menards called me and they wanted an interview. And they hired me. Spy says I just played dumb and never told them. That's cool. Like I said, that's awesome. That's good, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. I hope it lasts many, many, many years. Cause like I said, if they start getting corporate, it just turns into, start revamping the building and all that, turn it into it's like a drive-through at ours. You know what I mean? It's like a 2-lane McDonald's drive-through. That's weird. It just hasn't, never changed, just as it just kind of grew and grew. And I don't know what else they do, but it just isn't what I like to see. It's like when you get a customer that just starts becoming such a problem, it's time for them to go. Especially when you got other customers, that just seem like they pay better. You're in and out. I still I always like the DPWs and stuff. DPWs are just so much. They're kind of old school boys, like they just get the job done type of guys, But like I said, everything changes, everything evolves. Love to find somebody that does Lowe's installs, man. Anybody still do those, That's been such long. I'd love to know what the rates are still. Or he says he had a Jeff. Had a Jeff too. Had a Jeff. Yeah, this Jeff guy, man. I remember he wore glasses, and I don't remember if he had kind of a slick back. He was an older gentleman, but just a super friendly. Every time you walk in the store, just greet you. I mean, he was just he lived there. I mean, he's just always there. You always knew if you need to, you could go to Jeff, and he would find an answer. And just super nice dude. And then he went away, and it seemed like we had kind of had a Mexican kind of guy, and then a kind of a younger, bigger dude that were running it. They were still pretty friendly, but it really seemed like they were always kind of masking it. You know what I mean? Like they were just putting it on because they had to, where Jeff just did it because he wanted to. It was built in him, just a great dude, not pushing it. And then, like I said, things just started changing with that place. Hey, you gotta, you have to walk to the front of the store, and it's like, oh man, you gotta run to the front of the store. You gotta get this, you gotta get that. And it was just when you're, for us, it was just one of those things when you kind of, I think it's I'm sure people can relate. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're, if you're doing a job and you're getting, let's just say $10 an hour, right? But you work for somebody else and you're making $20 an hour. It's like, man, it's hard to be here for $10 versus I can go for 20. You know what I mean? And it's just it's always a balancing act. Every situation is different. We all phase in, phase out. I guess that's the beautiful thing with contractors. When you think about it in a nutshell, for society, when you think about it, right? When you stand back and really think about it, you think about how glorious it is in a nutshell, right? Because I see it more now, dealing with the rentals because, I hate saying it this way, but I waste people's time. I don't try to intentionally. I try to get some people. I'm like, hey, I'll send you pictures. No, not a problem. I just drive out there. I'm like, dude, you're driving out. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. I'm trying to help you. I don't know if I'm going to use you. I just rather you give me a ballpark, I remember it just, you know what I mean? It's just and it's just I feel the pain sometimes because I just go, you might have drove out here and you didn't get this job. And that's just part of business. I know, but so, but when you think about it in a nutshell, right? As consumers, it's great for us. It's great for the contractors. It's great for the businesses because all that stuff can always change, right? The economy starts tanking out. Well, guess what? People's prices typically start getting a little cheaper. I remember I remember when we were phasing out of the Lowe's, the lady called me, the manager, and she goes, it's funny how, um, when things were tough, people are just come running to me. It, she was trying to butter the biscuit, trying to keep us to stay on board. And I'm glad we didn't, because things changed even worse down the road. But it was like, hey, our time here has expired and we just need to move on. Like it's not enough money to keep up with the wages of the employees, and it's too much wear and tear on the trucks, and there's too much petty stuff, especially like that light bulb one. That one really got me. The customer's complaining about he wants some light bulbs. Well, good. He's 7 foot tall. Tell him put some damn light bulbs in it. I will send them to him. Have the store send it to him. No, he wants somebody to come up there, and I'm like, you can't have one of your store people go up there. You know, stuff like that, where it's just, you know, um, yeah. So, I mean, it's just crazy how things change. But, like I said, I always think about that in a nutshell. I go with the contractors. I go, contractors really, because it's like, if you want to get your grass cut, think of something real basic. I mean, we're kind of in the same boat. I mean, we do more of a skilled trade, but, cutting grass is cutting grass. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm just like, I'm sure somebody could say like washing windows is washing windows, right? Well, there's a trick, there's a thing, but there's only a threshold to everything. You know what I mean? And but when things start, prices get cheaper and there's more people that flood the market and things change. And it's good and bad. It's good and bad. I'm not saying anything. It's just the cycle that we live in, unfortunately. Sometimes, not unfortunately. It's good. It's good. It's good to have competition, because then we get cheaper prices. Rich has got on here, says nothing but numbers now. I would agree. I'd agree. I think me and Mr. Rich B kind of live in the same demographics, in a sense. Like I said, it's a lot of let's just say I wish I could live in Rusty's area, because they it's just numbers. That's really what it comes down to. You know what I mean? It's numbers. And you know what? Hey, I'm 100% guilty of it too. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just the situations are all different. Every situation is different. You know what I mean? And sometimes I don't go always with the cheapest, but it just, most of the time, sometimes product is product. And it's just like shopping for cars right now. It's so easy, right? You can just shop for cars online. Um, so, it's just, and sometimes I've used people that are cheap, and I know they don't do, it's like, it's kind of like an opener, right? Like, I think about a residential opener. I'm like, how bad can you mess up a residential garage door opener? I'm like, okay, well, you can install it. You can do most of the work. Um, you know, uh, if I got to go back and tweak it a little bit or tighten this or put a couple staples in. But if I'm there, I can also watch it, right? Whatever they're doing. And I can also recommend, I do that with a lot of HVAC, carpet, things like that. You know what I mean? Hey, hey, what are you gonna do with that extra paint? Would you mind leaving that? Oh yeah, it's just, we just, I know how that goes. It go to somebody else's for free, a family member, but can I keep that? There's all kinds of little things, Rusty's got, let's see, Rusty says, Dave, there's got to be someone in your area charging premium prices. I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head. It's kind of a clicky, there's a little bit of a click. Like, I think of one guy that doesn't do any commercial, and he's got a few builders that he works for that's under his, and he's worked for them for years. But there's really nobody in our area that I could think. I mean, like right now I can see like A1 is pushing the Google sponsored in our area. And but like I said, I can't say for sure. Now, I've had some DPWs. I can't say for all of them. I've had some where I was able to kind of, lick the pen, lick the pencil, and kind of write my number. But for the most part, it's always kind of like we need to get 3 bids, and I think that's why I learned, I feel like a long time ago, right? When I did a guy for what was his name? I feel like it was Kenny or something, or Ken. That was his name, Ken. I can't remember Ken's last name. Ken was an old boy. He was good. He might have passed away by now. And I remember we were working at a DPW, and I'll never forget my business partner was always big into, dude, this thing's got problems, dude. Let's replace it. And I mean, there was this time when he said, this thing's a can of worms. This thing's got bearings that are shot. We need to replace it. And I'm sitting there just going, like, yeah, this thing is a big pile. This is a big turd. Like, we really should replace this. This is the right thing to do. Like, we should. And I remember, I'll never forget, I walked up to Ken and got down off the ladder. Didn't have a scissor lift back then. And I remember walking up to Ken, and I was like, Ken, we really need to replace this. And I'll never forget. He stopped right there in his tracks, and he kind of looked at me. He says, Dave, he says, let me tell you something. He goes, this is how this works. He goes, if you repair it, I have an open checkbook. He goes, if I replace it, I have to get 3 bids. And I remember him just kind of looking at me, and I'm like, kind of like when you're a kid, and you're like, oh shit. Like, okay, Dad, I got it. I won't ever do it again, Dad. And I'm like, okay. And so I remember I went back to my business partner, and I'm like, dude, we got to repair this. He's like, what? I'm like, dude, we got to repair this. He's like, what? Like, it's going to need like $1,200. I'm like, I know, but we're going to make out. Like, we're going to make out good. Like, he doesn't care. Like, we just got to rebuild it. Like, we got to replace it. We got parts at the shop. We can make this thing run. It's going to take us like an extra 6 hours, but we're going to get billed. We're going to pay. We're going to get charged. We're going to charge for it. And we're going to get paid. He's like, all right, whatever. So we ended up fixing it. And I remember that was a light bulb moment for me, where it's like, anytime I look at anything that has to replace, I go, that's kind of a joke. That's kind of bullshit. That's kind of, like, you don't know what you're up against. You do not know what you're up against. You know what I mean? Like I said, Cap just had the one, he was at 13, they were at 6. And he's like, how in the hell did they do it that when the cost is 47? Didn't get that job. Numbers, didn't care, didn't look at the research, didn't and I can't say to this day I've never ever had anybody, I think I had one that was kind of close at a DPW. The guy just told me he liked me, and that's why he used us, and we were the middle price. We weren't the lowest, but we weren't the highest. And he said, I liked you. And he was a cool dude. He was like a Boston dude, always smoking a cigar, just a real cool dude. Jerry, that was his name, Jerry. Love Jerry. But boy, he called me all the time. He needed somebody to hold his hand. Jerry needed somebody to hold his hand. He was a cool dude though. What's this one? Everyone has some product. It's your personality attention to detail that will set you apart. To some degree, I mean, I can't say no. I can't say when I've had people, I've told them, like, I'd really like to do this job, and, kind of sympathize and stuff. And, but for the most part, people will go get that cheaper gas for a penny. You can put on that pig. That's kind of a funny way. I like that. That's why so much lipstick you can put on that pig, man. That's kind of, I don't know, man. That's just kind of the truth, right? I mean, it's just there's only so much. That's why it's kind of like, there's always kind of like that ceiling. I noticed in the door business that we're against a lot of times. Like, there's, at least in, like I said, in my demographics, it's I can't charge 1,200 or 5,000 or 1.2 million for an opener. I just can't. I just cannot. It's just people like, kind of like Tanner, like I've said before, Muskegon is the biggest small town, and people talk and they will tell you. And I have a uncle. I know I'm Uncle Dave, and I have a Uncle Jack. And Uncle Jack will tell you exactly how it is, man. Like, I mean, he will tell you where to go and where not to go, and where he's where this has happened and where this hasn't happened. And it does not, like, it never comes down to, and it could just be our area. Like I said, I've seen, it's like, how do I explain it? It's kind of like family, right? Like, I'm a big believer, right? I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer at everything revolves around money. I'm not saying it should, but that's just the system we're in, and it's a crazy system. I don't know how, who, or what invented it and how we got here, but it's a money thing. You know what I mean? I've never seen, um, with families and just everything else, or just gas price, everything under the sun. People, like I said, it's numbers. It's numbers. You know, there's not really much loyalty anymore. Like, when it comes to that, like, I can't think of any residential over all the years. I've never had any residential. I mean, there may be a few I've heard through the secretary that said, well, the guy really liked us, so he waited the week, to have us come out, or something if we were super busy. And then we got our commercial that would always, but we have seen some that drift off, right? And then we've had a few that try to come back, and we say, we're not even interested because they were just such a pain. But it can be, it can be in numbers. And so then it's always like, so what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Are you, are you, it's kind of like with, like, Wayne Dalton, right? When I first started out, right, and I kind of say this is more for, like, the young guys, or like for, like, Evan to not get caught up in. When I signed up with them, I met a guy. I won't say a name, but I met a guy, and I met him in a mall, right? It was my first vendor, and man, I was so excited. We finally got a vendor. Met this guy in a mall. We met halfway. Met, shook hands, everything, signed some paperwork. Boom, man, we're good. Good. We got a vendor now. We're saved. And worked with them for many years. And then all of a sudden something started happening. I was going to these jobs, and these customers are telling me, I mean, this is like, we're talking upwards, like 6, 12, about 20 jobs, maybe, like, I keep going to these jobs, and I'm hustling, I'm trying. I'm like, I don't have no overhead. And I'm going to these jobs, and I'm like, they're like, you're, most people won't tell you, but I wasn't getting the job. And I started getting a couple that were like, hey, you're $200 higher than the other guy. I'm like, really? I'm like, well, can you show me the quote? And they show me the quote, and I'm looking at it, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, hey, it's a steel on steel. Mine's a steel on steel. How in the hell am I $200 higher? Like, I mean, and I'm sitting there like scratching my head. I'm like, man, even if I even if I knock this down, I'm making like $50 off the job. And I'm like, and that's like, dude, where are they buying these doors? Like, where are they getting these doors for like half the price or whatever? So my brain, kind of opened up, and I started thinking about it. And I thought, well, I need to call some other vendors. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on here. So I call some other vendors. Amar was one of them. I mean, I'm getting it like way cheaper through Amar. I'm like, what in the? Now you would think, right? I've been a loyal customer, right? I've never gave them any problem. I pay on time. I've done all these things, right? I've done all these things. And then, the one guy that I shook hands with, had to drive the truck the one day, shows up, and he's like, hey, I noticed your sales are down. I'm like, well, to be honest, I said, here's what's going on. And it changed within that day. It changed. He got the salesperson, which was funny. The sales lady that I dealt with, I'd never met her, and she was getting commission, and which I thought was always kind of weird, because the secretary did not secretary, but the lady that worked there, right, the vendor, did an awesome job. And it just really blew my mind. And so then our prices got right, but I was just losing these jobs. Like, we're talking $100, $200. And I'm just like, what is going, like, I know these companies, they got 3, 4 trucks, they got a building. I'm like, how in the heck am I getting just wiped out? but that's just, and this was back in whatever, like good times, decent times, so it just, so it's like you either gotta, for us, it's like you either gotta find a cheaper vendor. It's like in my world, it's always like, there's two ways either to make more money. Yes, either you charge more price, charge more, or so that's A, and B, or you become more efficient. No calls going back to the shop. The truck has to be fully loaded. You have to have your torsion tube. You have to make sure you have all your stuff stocked, because that trip and that time, right, cost you money. And then now, obviously, I would agree with, like, SOS, the 5 Mile Famous. And then Rusty's, we got Rusty saying, all right, so it's the long distance loser, so it's that's kind of where the teetering is now, where it's like I'd rather be, um, basically be like the AutoZone, and there's more AutoZone and Napas, or not. I'm sorry, there's more AutoZones and Advanced Autos around my area and O'Reilly's than there is Napa. Now, Napa always had good quality parts. They had decent service, but the 5 stores have gone down to 1 store. So people are buying on price, unfortunately, in this neck of the woods. You know what I mean? There's nothing, we don't even get high end restaurants for the most part. It's weird. It's just weird. What's it say? Who says makes sense if everyone is calling the competition? Who is actually setting the price? A1, you know, A1 at $56 service call. I mean, I don't know. You know, uh, says money is the root of all evil. He says I hate money. I wish we could go do good, best, honest work, come home and have what you want. Heck yeah, man. I agree. It's just crazy how money, it's just fascinating. Just fascinating how it works. Oh. Yes, he's got, the Bible says the love of money, not just money. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, but unfortunately it's the system. I thought it really resonated with me one day because my kiddo was asking me, she's like asking, she was pretty young, and she said something about money, and I said, well, I found out I had a washer in my cup holder. And I said, well, here's a washer. I said, and I'm gonna have you walk into that store. I said, go try to buy something. And she looked at me and she's like, Dad, she's like, that won't work. I'm like, exactly. I was like, but I said, it's because it's a belief. I said, everybody believes in this monopoly money. I said, where it's like, there was a guy not too long ago that was hanging around, and he had, I forgot how exactly he did, but he had like a gold coin, or he had $20, and everybody went for the $20. And he's like, this gold coin is worth like $1,200 or something like that. I can't remember what it was quite, but and he's like, and there was a like a jewelry store or whatever, pawn shop right behind him. He's like, we can go right in there and like you can see what the value. Then they're like, no, man, like I'll just take the 20. And I'm just like, that's the society we live in. I mean, it sucks. It really sucks in the way it's getting devalued. And I mean, I always look at it like gasoline. That's what always sticks in my brain. I go, I used to be able to buy gasoline for whatever, 10 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents, a dollar, you know. Well, it's still basically the same gasoline, probably more diluted now with the ethanol in it, but your money doesn't go that. You have to give them $3. Like we always used to call Menards the $100 store. Now I think it's probably the $300 store. I haven't consulted my dad on that one, but that was always our joke. You can't go to Menards without spending $100 or more. Now it probably is like a $300 store. I go in there and buy a couple boxes of nuts and screws and whatever, and it's like, how much? Really? You must have something typed in wrong. Check it again. Ooh. Caesar, he says, give to God. What is God's? Who knows, man? It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world. It'd be great if we could ever get everybody else on board, but I don't know. The media. media, the old Trump and Elon are going at it. Well, they're up to their shenanigans, keep the, look over here, why something's going on over here, right? That's how it always kind of works. All right, guys, I guys kept you guys long enough. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for all the comments. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. If I talk to you, I talk to you. If I don't, I don't. Make sure you keep your fingers. Make sure you be safe. And, hey, God bless y'all. Make some money. Make that baby money. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Adios, amigo.